Memorial Stadium, Lawrence, Kansas. Ready for some Senior Day football on a sunny November afternoon. The Texas Longhorns have come to town looking to take a win back home. They take on the Kansas Jayhawks in Big 12 play. Texas is 5-5 on the season. A win today would make the Longhorns bowl eligible for a 54th time. Kansas is looking to shake free from a long winless streak. They're 0 for the season against FBS opponents. Oklahoma and West Virginia play a big one in the Big 12 tonight on ABC. It's been a season of highs and lows for Texas. Remember that thrilling double overtime win against Notre Dame that started the campaign? That shot the Horns up to 11th in the polls? Seems like a long time ago now. Then they lost 4 of the next 6, including close ones to Oklahoma and Kansas State. The results better lately, winning 2 of the last 3, but another close loss to West Virginia last week is where the Horns are entering today. And hello from Lawrence. I'm Alan Bestwick. He's College Football Hall of Famer Coach Mike Bellotti. So 5-5 for Texas. Folks say they're playing better lately. How and why?
Well, they're playing better on offense because Shane Buechele is a true freshman quarterback. He's getting better every game. But maybe the biggest difference is Charlie Strong has taken over the defense. They're playing with a much more aggressive nature and creating more takeaways, which has helped that defense.
Now, Charlie Strong is always a man in the swirl of the conversation. More articles even released just earlier today about is his job in jeopardy. How hot is his seat?
Well, it's hot enough to keep him warm on a cold day like today. That wind out there is pretty cool. The reality is he's 5-5, but more important, he's 16-19, so there's no cash or credit in the bank right now.
Yeah, well, there are the numbers on Charlie Strong and more on this from field level. Here's Chris Budden.
Alan, as you guys said, as the losses mounted up for Texas, so has the chatter around Charlie Strong's job. I asked him this week how he's approached it with his team. He said he met with them earlier in this season, and he told his guys, don't focus on that. Put that on me, because what that's about, that's bigger than you, and that's bigger than football. I spoke to several players this week, though, and they all said the same thing. I would do anything for this man. He's like a father figure to me. One of those guys was running back Deontay Foreman. I asked him if he felt the pressure to try and save Charlie's job, and he said it's not necessarily the pressure, but if anything I can do out on that field on Saturday will help save his job, I'm going to go out there and do it. Getting a 6 win and a bowl bid would certainly help, Alan.
All right, Chris, thanks. There is Foreman, who's certainly been the breakout star of the season for Texas, the junior running back, storming to over 1,600 yards so far, with more still to come. What do you see on the coaching tape, Mike?
Well, I see a bruiser with speed and mobility, almost 250 pounds, and the reality is he just knows where to go with the ball. He's got vision to be able to set up blocks, to see the hole, be creative, and then to accelerate through and take advantage of those lanes. The other thing he has is he's a relentless running back, and I talk about relentless in terms of breaking tackles, dragging people, having the will to never go down, never quit, and then always finish by falling forward. And finally, he's got real speed. I'm telling you, this guy is 249 pounds, and he can pick him up and lay him down. He's got finishing speed when he gets into the secondary.
He's hard to catch for sure when he gets into open field. So Foreman looking to break a record he shares with Texas legend Earl Campbell coming into the day for consecutive 100-yard rushing games. 11 over the century mark is that record. Expect Foreman to grab that mark for himself today. Getting the ball to Foreman will be the true freshman quarterback for Texas, Shane Buechele. He set career highs in passing and rushing in last week's game against West Virginia.
He's got a nice touch on the deep ball, a quick release. He's very comfortable in the pocket. The reality, too, is he said, and his coaches said, the Notre Dame game was not too big for him. And for a freshman, a first-time freshman, that's an amazing thing. The players like him. They trust him. They think he's a student of the game.
All right, so Shane Buechele and the Longhorns on the field. That's the setup on Texas. Here come the Jayhawks onto the field, looking to shock the visitors and reward their seniors who've had a long journey through their careers here. We'll talk Kansas and tee it up next from Lawrence. It's Texas and Kansas in the Big 12 on a November Saturday afternoon. Ready for play in Lawrence, Kansas, as Kansas takes on Texas in Big 12 play on this Saturday. Kansas, there you see the numbers. They're not pretty. They have had a difficult season with 9 consecutive losses, 19 straight in the Big 12, and 23 against FBS competition. David Beatty, their head coach, is in his 2nd season and looking to get things turned around here. Feels like he has a lot of positive things going for the Jayhawks. And those of you who just watched Kansas State beat Baylor, welcome to Lawrence, Kansas, where the Jayhawks are hosting the Texas Longhorns in Big 12 play. Alan Bestwick, Coach Mike Bellotti, Chris Button is at field level. We're just ready for kickoff on a very beautiful afternoon. Wind was blowing hard earlier today. It was chilly this morning, 27 degrees, but it's warmed up nicely as we get ready for play.
I'm looking at that calm. I'm not sure it's so calm. I see some wind still blowing, but that's okay. Maybe for today it's a calm day.
Kansas won the toss. They have deferred. They kick away to the Longhorns, but whistles right away. And that ball fall off the tee just as he came to kick it? Yeah. And that's Big 12 referee Scott Campbell who will administer things for today. So again, resetting the picture for the Longhorns. They come in on the day 5-5. A win today would make them bowl eligible. They are favored to win today. Folks say they're playing a little bit better lately. There is some numerical evidence to support that.
Especially on defense. They've taken the ball away 16 times in the last 6 games. And corresponds to Charlie Strong taking over the defensive calls. They're more aggressive. It's resulted in more takeaways. And I think really the whole team is sort of buoyed by that.
And a touchback, and the Longhorns will take first possession at the 25-yard line. Their freshman quarterback, Shane Buechele, will lead them onto the field. Last week, career highs in passing and rushing in their game against West Virginia. And a win today would give him the most wins by a freshman quarterback in Longhorn history.
And he looks pretty young, but you know, he acts like a leader. He acts like a veteran in this offense. He's got a quick release. He's a student of the game. He's very comfortable in a spread offense. He knows where to go with the ball. He's already had 9 games where he's thrown for more than 200 yards.
So Deontay Foreman will be the running back next to him. They'll throw on first down quickly out to Ja'Cory Warwick, and he's got a lot of green ahead of him. No flags. Touchdown, Texas.
That's the way that you want to start a game.
I guess.
If you're Texas, you love that. There's going to be a lot of emphasis on stopping Deontay Foreman today. Watch them trying to load the box. A lot of one-on-one situations on the outside. Texas just was able to take advantage of it.
So 75 yards on the opening play from scrimmage. And Ja'Cory Warwick is into the end zone for his 3rd touchdown of this season. And now the point after try with Trent Domang lined up to kick it for the Longhorns. And with all of 11 seconds gone in the game, the Longhorns up 7.
We take a look right here. Here's the receiver's going to get it. Watch this guy right here, though. That's the key. He's way inside there. The safety's got to try to pick him up. He comes down. He's got too much room there, makes him miss, and he's off to the races. And then it's just a foot race. And this Texas receiver corps has great speed.
Well, one of the things you mentioned it briefly earlier that the Kansas coaching staff told us they were going to have to do probably is cheat somebody down low to try and contain Deontay Foreman, and that was the chance they were going to have to take.
Yeah, it's too much of an immovable object. That offensive line for Texas, and Foreman is just such a stud. They've got to commit more people to the box. It's going to create those type of opportunities on the outside. They've got to rally to the ball and make the tackles in the open field.
So 7-0 Longhorns, and now they will kick away. Mitchell Becker to knock it deep. Wrapped up and dropped at the 23-yard line, and that is where the Jayhawk offense will get its first crack. So Kansas now with Carter Stanley, a redshirt freshman, getting his 2nd start. He's played in 6 games earlier this season. Last week got his first start as David Beatty and the Jayhawks have kind of searched for the answer at the quarterback position.
And in talking to his teammates, it's an interesting deal. They say he's got poise, but swagger. He's got energy, but he's cool. The reality is he's accurate. He knows where to go with the ball. He's got great anticipation. Not the strongest arm, but he has to be very efficient in this offense.
So they spotted at the 21. And Khalil Herbert gets the first carry for the Jayhawks. Herbert, the true freshman from Coral Springs, Florida, out of American Heritage High School. That's just his 30th carry of the season. Now he'll give way to the bulk back, if you will, Keon Kinner, who's done a lot of the work. 22 this season for the Jayhawks, running the ball.
I knew you weren't talking about his size because he's only about 190 pounds.
Illegal substitution. Offense. 12-minute formation. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Well, that's not going to help things.
No, and they're going to have to run the ball to keep the Texas defense honest. Texas has been much more aggressive. They're going to bring 5, 6, and 7 almost every down since Charlie Strong has taken over. So, you know, you're going to have to get rid of the ball quickly, know where to go with it, but also run the ball to keep them honest.
Stanley throws, misses his intended receiver, LaQuiviante Gonzalez, and it'll bring up 3rd down and long quickly for the Jayhawks.
And not in the situation you want to be in, because now Texas can pin their ears back and come after you. Carter Stanley more comfortable throwing in the pocket, not as great on the run. Had a guy open that time, but couldn't make the throw.
Texas 2nd in the Big 12 and 3rd in the nation in sacks.
Showing pressure, dropping out.
Carter wings it at the sideline. Did Patrick get it?
I don't think he got his foot down inside, but let's see. Great job of buying time. Here's the throw a little bit high.
No.
And again, just not able to get a foot down.
So incomplete, and the punt team will come on for the Jayhawks. Cole Moose is the Kansas punter. He ranks 5th in the Big 12, averaging just under 42 yards a boot. Corey Warwick will let that one bounce away, and it will roll down to around the 30-yard line, and that's where Texas will get its 2nd crack at the ball. Very quickly, Kansas 3 and out, Texas up 7. Just underway in Lawrence. (7-0) Texas Longhorns, who scored on their first play from scrimmage and then forced the 3 and out on the part of the Kansas Jayhawks. And so the Texas offense back onto the field. Headliner is D'Onta Foreman. Over 1,600 yards of rushing already this season for the junior from Texas City, Texas. Looking for a 100-yard game today to break the tie he stands in with Earl Campbell for consecutive 100-yard rushing games. He'll throw to the outside. Quick strike to Dorian Leonard, and a short gain there for the Longhorns. It'll be 2nd down. Foreman leading the nation in rushing yards per game, better than 179 a game.
He's a bruiser with speed and mobility. He can do it all.
Buechele will pull it and will get dropped. It was Daniel Wise, who made the stop.
Right now, the Kansas defense is committed to loading the box, being one-on-one in the outside. They're thinking the RPO is telling they have to throw the ball because there's too many people in the box.
3rd down and 8 now for Texas. Buechele to throw. Little too far away from the intended receiver Leonard, and it'll bring up 4th down, and the Kansas defense is able to get a stop.
Just a 4-man rush, and they put them in the long yardage situation. That's what they want to do. They need to do this many times today, obviously, but they're going to stop the run, and on 1st and 2nd down, they're packing the box.
LaQuiviante Gonzalez is back deep to receive the punt from Michael Dixon, one of the best in the nation. In fact, he's 3rd in the nation with his punt average. Fair catch signaled for and made in traffic at the 24-yard line. AT&T Inside Access takes us inside the Kansas football facilities. Head coach David Beatty is trying to remind his players of the theme for rebuilding this program, which is that you got to earn it.
Well, and that's, you know, it's pretty easy to say that, but the reality is teaching them how to practice, teaching them how to go to class, how to appreciate what you're doing. He talked a lot about the idea of preparing these young men for life after football, which I can relate to.
Beatty said that this team is way better than it was last year. They have a number of metrics that they look at on which to make that judgment that we can talk about as the game goes on, but obviously in the win-loss column, they're still not quite over the hump to win in these Big 12 games. That was Keon Kinner with some tough yardage, and it'll be 2nd down and long. Beatty is a 46-year-old in his 2nd season here at Kansas. He was here before on a prior staff, has a big passion for this place, wants to make it go, has a plan for making it go, knows it's going to take some time.
Very positive recruiter, talking about getting the right kind of guys, which means they know how they're going to have to earn it and work to win.
Kinner doesn't get much coming near side, and so it'll set up 3rd and long. Anthony Wheeler and Deshaun Elliott in on the stop for the Longhorns.
Right now they've challenged the front 7 of Texas without a lot of success. They've got to probably get the ball on the edge, try to find a few seams in that secondary.
Kansas only 25% in conference play in converting these 3rd downs. Shovel pass up inside. That's going to be one. Kinner across the 40 out to the 43-yard line before he's knocked down. And a 1st down for Kansas.
They're going to have to do some non-traditional things. They don't match up as well against Texas, especially that front 7. So you look for this draw, screen, shovel pass, those types of things.
Now they go with a little tempo. Kinner will not get any room around the near side. That was Malcolm Roach who was there, knocked him down for the Longhorns. Well, a freshman out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, one of the players that his head coach Charlie Strong says has really been playing well.
He's a playmaker, he's one of the best pass rushers, and unfortunately, tempo doesn't affect Texas because they see it every day in practice.
4-yard loss on the play, 2nd and 14 at the 38.
Carter Stanley under pressure, and down he goes, back at the 33-yard line. Brecklin Hager and Jeffrey McCullough got there for the Longhorns.
And this is pressure. They brought 5 or 6 guys. You can see it. Just take a look here. There's 5. They do a nice little cross stunt, loop him all the way around. Just creates havoc where the quarterback has to step up now in the pocket. And this is the type of thing that these 3rd and long situations, you've got to avoid them. It's very difficult because now the defense can choose to either play coverage or pressure. You got to make the right choice in your call.
Got to get across midfield to get a 1st down. They'll throw short of the line to gain, almost intercepted. That ball just about thrown right into the hands of John Bonney, and it's 4th down for Kansas.
We've talked about the increase in takeaways by the Texas defense based on their pressure. That wasn't pressure right there.
Yeah.
That was dropping 8 into coverage, and the quarterback just panicked just a little bit, thought I had to get it, fit it into much tighter windows when you have 8 men dropping back.
So Ja'Cory Warwick goes back to get the Cole Moose punt. Pressure, they hit the kicker. There are no flags. Fair catch made at the 28-yard line. Kansas fans thought they might get some free yardage out of that one. Referee said no. David Beatty giving him an earful. No flag there. Now there's a flag down on the field at the 46. This was a very late flag that came in. Now that was in the area where some of the referees were huddling, and they're talking to David Beatty. So what does he want to do? Did they decide that it was a foul on the kicker?
It may have just been running into, which is only a 5-yard penalty. It wouldn't change. It might be added on to the end of the play.
Yeah, because they had 3rd and very long. Let's see. Scott Campbell is the referee for the Big 12 today. And they're still trying to sort it out. Well,
we're trying to explain all the ramifications to the
running into the kicker.
Options.
Receiving team. That penalty is declined. Kansas will keep the ball. 1st down.
Or Texas.
Immediate timeout.
All right.
Texas
Well,
ball.
Longhorns are going to have the ball when we come back to Lawrence.
College football presented by Jarrett the Galleria of Jewelry. In part by the Venture Card from Capital One. Earn unlimited double miles you can use on any airline, anytime. And Audi.
About 28,000 students here at KU. The Look at the Kansas Union with the Jayhawk out in front. And the Jayhawks trail the Longhorns 7-0. Deontay Foreman and the Texas offense back out onto the field for their third possession. Look at the numbers and how his career has picked up this year. He'll have the ball for the first time. Grinding forward for about 6 maybe. That depends where they spot it. Got to back it up, give him about 4.
His career really took off the end of last year. He got 100-yard games the last 2 games of the season. He's had 11 consecutive this year. So they know what they have now, and he knows what to do. The offense has slowed down for all these young players.
Pushing forward, and we'll get out to about the 35-yard line. They'll have 3rd and 4 coming up. You talk about they know what they have now. It was a few games into this season before they found out what they had. Sterling Gilbert, the offensive coordinator, told us he was so busy putting in his offense as a Kansas player down on the field. He was so busy putting in his offense that it took him 3 or 4 games into this season before he realized, whoa, look what this guy can do.
Yeah, they really recognize that Deontay Foreman can handle it both physically and mentally, being the guy. And then also, they had Shane Buechele, and his main job is distributing the football. They've got 8 receivers that have all caught at least 16 passes for 200 yards and a touchdown. So it's really just spreading that ball around, and they've got tremendous speed. They've got a great offensive line up front, and their numbers are all up from last year.
Well, they've had some great running backs at Texas over the years. And Foreman is chasing them all when you look at his single season numbers, and he's got a shot to do some more damage on that list today and in the remaining games of this season.
The more I watch him, the more I believe he's a viable Heisman candidate.
Isi Holani was the injured player for the Jayhawks. That is him, the junior from Hawaii, headed off the field with the assistance of the Kansas medical staff. We'll hope that he's okay and is able to come back into the game later.
He's one of their few guys over 300 pounds that can sort of anchor that defensive line so they can ill afford to lose him for the game.
Yeah. So when they whistle the ball back into play here, it's 3rd down and 4 for Texas.
As the survey says, they're going to tell him from the sideline what they want him to run based on the alignment of the Kansas defense. This could be run, pass, on RPO, because obviously they're looking for off coverage if they can find it.
Swing it out to Foreman, gets hit right away. Nice play through by Daniel Wise, the sophomore from Louisville, Texas. Big 96 for Kansas, and it brings up 4th down.
That's a huge play by Wise. He's very talented, needs a little bit of maturity, but one of the leaders. They say one of the funniest guys on the team, but also a key playmaker for that defense.
If you got a guy that's a 285-pounder standing in front of you saying something funny, you're going to laugh, right?
yeah, sure. That's funny, isn't it? Yeah, sure
oh,
it
yeah,
is,
yeah. Laquiviante Gonzalez is back deep to take the Michael Dixon punt. Be a short one, take a Texas bounce. And roll down inside the 20 to about the 17. So the Jayhawk offense will come onto the field after we check in the studio with Cassidy Hubbard.
Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Mike. Carmex Drive. What's possible update. Number 10, Colorado hosting number 22, Washington State. Phillip Lindsay. 9-yard touchdown run caps off a 12-play, 82-yard drive. Buffs up 7-0 early. Alan, Mike, back to you guys.
All right, Cassidy, thanks. Massive game. That one is in the Pac-12. You know, someone asked me today, who you taking, Colorado or Washington State? I don't know. I guess I'm going to go with the Buffs because they're at home.
I think I might go with Washington State, but it's strength against strength. The Colorado defense and the Washington State offense.
And that one could go a long way toward determining a spot in the college football playoff, as a nice reception by Keegan Brewer, one of the freshman receivers for the Jayhawks, moves the ball up out close to 1st down yardage. There is Carter Stanley, the redshirt freshman quarterback, making his 2nd start for Kansas. A week ago, 26 of 38, 171 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception in a close loss to Iowa State. Good for a 1st down. That one to Gonzalez, and they'll move the sticks.
I like this mix of plays. I like what they're doing for the quarterback. They had movement play action on the previous play, pocket play action on that play. They're varying the launch point, varying the tempo to get rid of the ball, try to escape that pressure from the front seven of Texas.
So a first down with the ball at the 37-yard line. Some pressure from Texas. He gets it away. He's got Gonzalez again, who's out across midfield before he's dragged down. So the Jayhawks able to get something going a little bit on this third possession of the game.
Gonzalez and Sims, they're two quick guys, playmakers that can do a lot with the ball in their hands.
Flag has come in on the far side of the field at about the 44-yard line. That was way away from the play.
Ineligible man downfield, number 62. Offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still first down.
That's interesting because he got rid of that ball very quickly. So that lineman must have taken off and gone downfield immediately. I know the officials are looking for that this year.
So DeAndre Banks wipes out the 18-yard gain, backs him up 5, and now the Jayhawks operating from behind the chains at their own 32. Talk about Carter getting his second start. One of the things that David Beatty talked to us about was, you know, they haven't had any of those lopsided wins where you could get your second and third string guys some game experience. So Carter's first experience has, for the most part, come with a game in the balance.
You're right. They didn't have that opportunity, and you really don't know what you have until you can play somebody in a game or get invaluable reps, and they didn't get that opportunity as you talked about. So they learned last week that he could really do some things. He got hot for a couple series, made a couple of mistakes, but he can learn from that.
So second down and 9 after Taylor Martin picked up a short gain. Throws under pressure over the top of Steven Sims and incomplete, and it's third down as the quarterback got popped for the second time in the game. So there are the 3 quarterbacks that the Jayhawks have played this year.
Yeah, and whether it's Cozart or Willis or Stanley, the offense really has not changed, but they've been looking for more consistency, better performance. They finally worked it down to Stanley and giving him his opportunity.
So third and 9. And he'll throw it away out of bounds as he's knocked down again at the 30-yard line, and quickly a lineman steps in and gets into the face of the Texas player who knocked the quarterback down.
And one of the issues when you force a quarterback out of the pocket is you eliminate half the field. When he's moving on the run to his right, it's rarely that he can throw anywhere but to that right, and the DBs understand it, know it. They can play leverage to the sideline.
Cole Moose to kick. Ja'Cory Warwick back deep. He's got the Longhorn touchdown on a 75-yard reception on the first play from scrimmage. Fair catch in traffic, and he's able to make it at the 22-yard line. Watch the pounding that Carter Stanley took here at the hands of Jeffrey McCulloch. Hi, Texas is in town. Gotta love a college campus on a fall Saturday afternoon, don't you? What a pretty sight as Kansas hosting Texas. Charlie Strong in his third season headlining the head manning the Longhorn program, watching his team with a 7-0 lead, and a jet sweep coming this way. That's Gerard Hurd, who gets into the Kansas bench and has a nice gain on first down. So Charlie talking with us the other day about why his team has been playing a little bit better lately, and what's been going on with the offense, what's been going on with the defense, and so on.
Well, the offense has gotten better simply because they've settled on an offensive attack. They have great balance between the run and the pass, and they've got a young freshman quarterback in Shane Buechele that gets better every single game. But they also know what their identity is. Deontay Foreman is a bruiser with speed and mobility. He makes that offense go.
Buechele's going to go deep. He's got a receiver open, but that ball just took too long to get there, and now the flag will come in. Mike Lee, the freshman defensive back for Kansas, got over there, got a piece of Gerard Hurd.
And they say he's got great anticipation, great instincts.
Pass interference, number 11. Defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
This is interesting. I didn't think he got a piece of anything from our view up here, but let's take a look right there. Oh, yeah, there's
just
no
a second
question.
Too early.
No question. Yeah, he actually, had he been able to see the ball, he might have been able to make a play on the football.
Yeah.
The other thing where they have improved, though, is defensively, because Charlie Strong has taken over calling the defense. They've become much more aggressive. They've had 16 turnovers in the last 6 games. Excuse me.
Michelle throws. Oliver spins away. They'll have about 6 on first down.
One of the things that Kansas has to really be careful of is letting the lead get too far and out there.
Michelle with time. Now he's going to tuck it and run it. Flag comes in. Probably a holding call from where the flag came from. And we will see if this one comes back. Should mention that this Texas offensive line has been shuffled again today. It's been kind of a...
Number 77, offense. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
That's Patrick Vahe, the sophomore, who is starting today at left guard. Been shuffled again today, as has been a repeated process throughout the season.
And let's watch the left guard right here, just see what happens. Tough to tell. I think when the quarterback separated, he probably hung on just a little bit too long to that jersey.
Jake McMillan, the normal starting left guard, is out at the game as Deontay Foreman comes near side and set him up with 3rd down and about 9 to go. They're also missing their starting center today, Zach Shackelford, who is out. Chris has more on that.
Yeah, I talked to Coach before the game about his concerns. He said center was the one that he was worried about, but he said we've been through this so many times. They've had 9 different offensive lineman combinations so far this season.
Got to look at Elijah Rodriguez, who is starting at center today. He played left guard last week, as they've had to continue to juggle this offensive setup up front, both for a combination of injury and performance reasons. Rochelle will throw, popped and separated from the ball, incomplete is the call. Jake Oliver was hit by Brandon Stewart, and the ball knocked away before he could take and make a football move.
On the field is an incomplete pass, 4th down.
Kansas has become the best 3rd down defense in the league here. They take a lot of pride in that. This ball, he does, you know, I'll tell you what, I think he might have that ball. I have to take a look here. Looks like he takes a step. May not be that 2nd step that is required to validate the catch.
Yeah. I don't know if he ever got it tucked away completely. He had it pinned against his hip for sure. And so the punt here by Dixon. They bounce at about the 18 and roll back toward the Kansas goal line. And the Jayhawks will start just inside their 5. Well, a big day in the Big 12 and a big night in the Big 12. Number 9 Oklahoma in Morgantown to take on number 14 West Virginia tonight. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, ABC, of course, streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. So with Oklahoma State already winning today over TCU, Oklahoma cannot lock up the conference title tonight, but they can certainly go a long way toward putting themselves in position for it and hurt themselves a lot if they don't win against the Mountaineers. And as far as West Virginia is concerned, 8-1 overall.
Yeah, they just haven't played anybody yet in the committee's opinion, I believe.
And the Mountaineers in position to fight for that conference championship as well. So Carter Stanley hands off, and not much going there for Khalil Herbert, the freshman running back for Kansas, as the Longhorn defense stands him up. That game in Morgantown tonight, that is going to be really interesting.
It will be, and I'll tell you what, I think it's going to be a close football game. Oklahoma's offense is so good, but West Virginia may be one of the best balanced team in this conference.
And they get the home field tonight. Stanley throws out of his own end zone, off the mark, as Gonzalez was not able to come back and get that one. And quickly, it's going to be 3rd down and 10 with the Jayhawks backed up against their goal line.
I would assume we're going to get a little bit pressure here from Texas. Down in your own end zone, you get the potential safety for any grounding or holding back there. So I think you'll see pressure this time from Texas. Watch those safeties. See if one of those safeties sort of comes down late.
Gonna hand it off right at the goal line. Just barely stepping away from
Number 10, Khalil Herbert.
trouble was Khalil Herbert. And Brecklin Hager and Paul Boyette there to make the stop. This almost turned into a safety.
Hager's a madman. They talk about just got such speed and aggressive athleticism coming off the edge. Now, Texas has two options here. Try to block this punt or make sure you got a return set up because you're going to get great field position. Don't rough the punter.
11 to Corey Ward.
Big bounce on the kick. Picked up, juggled, and he ends up back all the way at his 40-yard line for Ja'Cory Warwick. Good bounce and fortunate one for Kansas as they're able to flip a little bit of field position, kick it from the back of their own end zone. Texas getting ready to send the offense back out onto the field. We check out today's Aflac trivia question. Deontay Foreman has rushed for 100 yards in 11 straight games. He's trying to get the Texas record that he now shares with Earl Campbell today. But who holds the FBS record for most consecutive games with 100 rush yards? You're frowning.
I don't know.
You're frowning.
I think I might know, but no.
Well, who?
I don't know.
All right.
I bet it's a quarterback. How's that?
Yeah, no, it's not. You'll find out in a minute. So they move the pile up the center out to about the 45-yard line after the 51-yard punt by Kansas out of the end zone. And so Deontay Foreman continuing to move up. He just passed Jamal Charles on that last series for 5th place. Rushing yards in a single season record, and he's got another chunk there that's going to have a Longhorn first down across midfield.
You know, he's got a ton of yards this year before contact, which is a tribute to his offensive line. He's got a bunch of yards after contact, which is a tribute to him and his toughness.
Michelle in trouble. Down he goes, back at the 47-yard line. So the Aflac trivia question was, Deontay Foreman has rushed for 100 yards in 11 straight games. Who holds the FBS record for most 100-yard consecutive games? The survey says it's Archie Griffin. 31 consecutive 100-yard games. That's a lot. Foreman leaps across one, drives another forward. He'll get down to the 46-yard line.
Now, that's what Foreman could do right there. See him jump over one guy and then run over the next. That's the kind of power, but he's nimble at 250 pounds.
Third down for the Horns.
Watch Dorrance Armstrong here, number 2, best pass rusher in the conference.
Lined up on the far side, far hash mark for the Jayhawks. They hand it off, and not much doing. He's in on the stop was Keith Lonecker and DeIsaac Davis for Kansas, and the kick team comes on for Texas.
It's an interesting call by Texas. That's either respect for the pass defense of Kansas or believing they could move the pile enough to pick up 7 yards. I'm surprised a little bit by that call. Congratulations to Kansas, doing a great job on third downs today.
So last time Michael Dixon pinned the Jayhawks back deep up against their own goal line. See what he can do this time, unless it's an alternate play, but it's not. Caught and down at the 6-yard line. And again, the kicking game making a bit of a difference for Texas. Speaking of kicking, kick off your NFL Sunday with us on ESPN, 10 Eastern. NFL Insider's Sunday edition with all the early breaking stories and injury news. Then at 11, Sunday NFL Countdown. Takes you right up to kickoff. Both shows streaming live on the ESPN app. And watch ESPN, our Sunday Countdown crew. Assume a lot of folks watching us in Texas on Sunday will be focused on the Dallas Cowboys.
You think so?
Interesting and classy move by Tony Romo this week.
Well, I thought that it was very honest, and the right thing to do because he'd been beat out at this point. He wants to be able to compete, but the better man's playing right now.
Make it a non-story. And of course, the Texans are playing on Monday Night Football. Not forgetting about those of you down in the Houston area. Carter Stanley throws on first down. Has Shaquem Barbell for a nice gain before he's knocked down by Timothy Cole. Be out very close to first down yardage. They're about one short.
If you're the underdog, you want to throw on first down. You don't want to throw when everybody expects you to.
Trouble's handling the snap. He'll have to go with that one himself and get dropped back at the 15-yard line.
Oftentimes, young quarterbacks in the shotgun have their eyes going down the field or to a read, and they don't focus on the football. They should have to catch that first. Make sure you catch the ball, then get your eyes to the read point.
So clock running at 15 seconds to go in this first quarter, and I believe they're going to let that one run out and take this 3rd and 1 to start the second. So Texas scored on the first play from scrimmage, a 75-yard touchdown pass, and we've been scoreless since. 7-0 Texas over Kansas. As we head to the second, we're back after this from your ABC station. Statue of the inventor of basketball, Dr. James Naismith, here on the University of Kansas campus as we come back to start the second quarter with Texas leading Kansas 7-0. They've got Dr. Naismith's original rules of basketball and a beautiful display inside Allen Fieldhouse that we got a chance to look at yesterday. And so now the Jayhawks, after giving up a 75-yard touchdown play on the first play from scrimmage, have held the Longhorns scoreless since. They have a 3rd and 1 at their own 15. Keon Kinner is going to fight for it, and they'll move the chains, and the Jayhawks have a first down.
He did a lot of that on his own. That was sort of a lateral play, which is a little scary on a short yardage play, but he did a nice job of turning north and south at the end to get the first down yardage.
And bringing them all in tight like that, Kansas doesn't have the size necessarily up front that Texas does. So bringing them all in tight like that to power through, that was a big play and a gutty call.
Big risk, big reward.
So Carter Stanley and the Jayhawk offense now at their 17-yard line. He'll throw quickly to the far side for very little gain to Laquiviante Gonzalez. Covered nicely by Dylan Haynes for the Longhorns, and it's 2nd down.
These are a lot tighter windows to throw into than he's had in practice. In practice, you're going against scout team. Things are a little bit more open. This is a real deal, and he's going to be tested today with the speed of the Longhorn defense.
Longhorns have been so good at creating turnovers with their defense. So far today, they've not been able to do that. That's a very nice gain for Keon Kinner, and it's close. It'll be about 2 yards to go for the first down with 3rd coming up. David Beatty waving signals in frantically for the Jayhawks.
Nice call, had a blitz coming, ran the ball right up the middle, got it 3rd and 2 now.
Ball came out, and it's incomplete. That was in the neighborhood of Shaquem Barbell, but he couldn't hang on to it.
Yeah, that was the RPO again. He liked what he saw outside. Just a little bit too much mustard on that ball, a little bit too far away from the receiver. Thought he had it for a count, but not enough to secure it and count it as a catch. Coach
Beatty talked about, very few plays making the difference in a football game. They had a 3rd and short there. The offense couldn't stay on the field. So now Comus will punt this one away. Ja'Cory Warwick will catch this one at his own 28. Gets away from the first one. Flag comes in. It's going to come back. There's a block on the back on the far side of the field, and the Longhorns will give up some penalty yardage here. Fairly obvious, too.
You're right. And when you were talking earlier about a game of inches, that is so correct. And it always seems like when you're trying to build a team, those plays tend to go against you. When you can turn that tide and win those 3rd and 4th down battles,
during the return, illegal block in the back, number 19, return team. 10-yard penalty, first down, timeout.
You see Coach had the conversation with the offending party. Timeout, Texas leads. How to put a caption on this? The fraternity party went a little hard last night.
Is that Rock Chalk Jayhawk right there?
I'm really supposed to be studying for my exam in the morning. Well, his football team's only trailing Texas by 7. Longhorns have the ball. And a completed pass to the outside to Ja'Cory Warwick, but nicely played by Mike Lee, that freshman safety for the Kansas Jayhawks, who's really played well this season.
And should be in high school right now. The kids, the players on the team kid him about going back for prom or graduation, but they talk about he's a great football player. One of the hardest hitters on the team and has great instincts and great anticipation.
Check the marker. It's going to be against the Longhorns.
An eligible man downfield. The offense. The pass is caught beyond the line of scrimmage. That penalty's declined. Second down.
All right, didn't get a number there, but they'll decline the penalty because of the quick stop. So the Longhorns go here second down at the 32-yard line.
We've had 2 of those calls today. It is a point of emphasis for officials, but that's the first time I've really seen it called very often.
It's the 3-yard rule. Can't be any more than 3 yards downfield. Bushell with time throws over the middle, incomplete, in and out of the hands of Ja'Cory Warwick, and it'll bring up another long try here needed by the Longhorns. Chris?
Well, after Texas's last offensive possession, Deontay Foreman came, and the first thing he did was stop by his offensive line and say, guys, we are better than this. Do not play at their level. So an obviously very frustrated line right now as Foreman comes off.
All right, Chris, it's third down. Longhorns 0 for 4, trying to convert on third downs today. Stopping third down conversions, something that the Kansas defense has been pretty good at. Bushell's going to run. Not going to get there. Nicely pursued up from the defensive backfield. And Bushell is down. The Texas quarterback is down after getting wrapped hard by Tevin Shaw.
Down by rule. Fourth down.
And the Texas medical staff attending to their quarterback.
Tevin Shaw, the guy who made that tackle, is a wrestler in high school. He was undefeated his senior year. They talk about him being one of the strongest and toughest guys on the team. Guy you got in a fight, you want him on your side.
He's one of the seniors, 25 seniors on this Kansas team who've certainly had a journey. Good to see Bushell up and having a walk off to the sideline.
Good tackle, you know, nothing illegal about it. It looked like the ball came out from the turf, but Bushell looked like he took the worst of that for sure.
He lowered his head, and Shaw caught him right with the shoulder pads in the chest. Just missed blocking that kick. And Gonzalez is swarmed under by a host of Longhorns. Kansas will get the ball at its own 23. Cassidy.
Thanks, Alan. Taco Bell studio update, and it came down to the wire between Florida and LSU. Tigers 4th and goal, 3 seconds left, looking for the win, and Darius Geis goes over the top and is stuffed. Florida hangs on and is headed to the SEC championship game with the win. Alan Mike, back to you.
Wow.
That Florida defense is spectacular.
Game that started with a pregame skirmish between the two teams, and the whole Leonard Fournette wasn't going to play, and then after the pregame skirmish said, I'm in, and goes down to a last seconds play like that. And so the Gators get the win of the game that was supposed to be played in Gainesville, but was eventually played in Baton Rouge after the postponement by Hurricane Matthew. Little storm of rushing there from the Jayhawks out to the 41-yard line. It was Keon Kinner with a big gain.
And what made that play was the running threat of Carter Stanley, the quarterback. Whether he keeps it or not, still just they had to occupy that defense that way.
Far side, another big gain. That's about 4 on first down.
They're not going to run straight ahead type running plays, power running plays. They've got to run the RPOs and the zone read type things that put the either or quandary on the front 7 for Texas.
Kinner got his ribs banged up in the 4th quarter of their game against Iowa State last week, and said he's 100% full go today. And he's having a good series here, his 3rd consecutive carry. It's going to be about a 3rd down and about 2, as the senior from Little Elm, Texas, who had a career high 152 yards of rushing last week against Iowa State, has been the workhorse on this series.
Like many of his teammates on this Kansas team from Texas, they would have liked to play for Texas, or if not, they want to play against Texas.
Stanley throws incomplete, as on the far sideline, Texas quarterback Shane Bushell is making his way toward the locker room. Chris?
Yeah, they were looking at his neck, but they did some tests on it. The medical staff did. He said he's not feeling any pain. They were just asking him a ton of questions. I'll get more information as soon as I get it.
Chris, thanks. So Buechele to the locker room after getting hit on that last running attempt. And the Kansas punt team comes on again. And fair catch made, and Warwick gets it at the 23-yard line. Texas leading 7-0, but the former starting quarterback will come in to lead this series.
College football presented by Jared the Galleria of Jewelry. Brought to you by Dr. Pepper. It's a college football tradition. Pacific Life, helping generations of families achieve long-term financial security for over 145 years. And Jaguar, the art of performance.
A lot of the streets here in Lawrence named for the states in the Union. Massachusetts Street is the main street through downtown, named for the home of the early abolitionist settlers. Here is Tyrone Swoops in at quarterback as Shane Buechele has gone to the locker room for Texas. He'll carry on first down and get out to close to the 30-yard line. Swoops, the senior from Whitewright, Texas, 249 pounds. Of course, the 18-wheeler package has been a lot of what he's been featured in the last season and a half or so. Give that one to Foreman. He'll get a first down.
He is yet to throw a touchdown pass this year, but he scored 7 on the ground as part of that package you talked about. He is a big, and now you've got 2 guys in the backfield, both go about 250 and can run.
So up to the 42-yard line and a short gain on first down. So now the look of the offense. Do you see Swoops try and throw the ball? Is it just going to be a grounded pound? Is it going to be Foreman and Swoops and whatever the read is they go with? And what does Kansas do to adjust to it defensively? He will throw, and he'll throw deep. Far side, incomplete.
Pass is incomplete.
Just out of the reach of Colin Johnson, the freshman receiver.
He can throw. I mean, his completion percentage is about the same as Buechele's this year. He just hasn't thrown very much. And certainly, he's got a strong arm. He was their starter for a while. Nice throw there. Gave him the opportunity to catch the ball. Tough with the wind. You never know if you're throwing against it or with the wind here because it swirls.
Third and long. That was a well-placed ball. Receiver just got tangled up with the defender and went down.
Got to make sure now you handle quarterback run in this situation, though.
Ball's out. Kansas has got it. Dorrance Armstrong knocked it away. Denzel Feaster recovered it. The Jayhawks have the first turnover.
The fumble recovered by Kansas. First down.
Okay, let's take a look. There's somebody over there, over here, coming in from this side of the field. Take a look. He loops back inside, went there, knocks the ball out. And this is the way you take care of a mobile quarterback, is you strip him with the ball in the backfield.
He pulled the ball down, tried to make something happen, but there was Dorrance Armstrong, the sophomore from Houston, who said he looked forward to play in Texas to show him that they missed out on a good player. Flag comes in, free play for the Jayhawks. They'll throw it up, it's intercepted. But it should not stand. Longhorns were offside at the line of scrimmage, and Jayhawks trying to take advantage of a free one.
Yeah, let's hope that it doesn't stand. Like I said, the key is a quarterback has to be aware of where he puts the ball regardless. He thinks it's a free play. You still want to give your guy a chance.
Offside, number 30. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
It's Timothy Cole, who's starting at middle linebacker in place of Malik Jefferson, who is out today, continuing to recover from concussion protocol, a head injury.
That's part of that pressure package. Malik Jefferson used to be the best pure pass rusher that Texas has, so they want Timothy Cole to come in and do the same things off the edge.
Batted in the air, intercept. No, he dropped it. He dropped it. Edwin Freeman had the ball in his hands, and he dropped it.
Ball tipped up in the air. Watch this right here. You can see actually maybe two guys got it. And he had a great chance there. I think he was thinking about, what am I going to do with the ball? Didn't look it in all the way.
Nashon Hughes is the one that got a hand on it, knocked it up in the air. So again, Kansas gets a reprieve on this drive, and the ball down to the 25. Chris?
Shane Buechele is now out of the locker room throwing on the sidelines. They just told me that it was a neck injury, but he is available to go back in.
All right, so good news there for Longhorn fans after a scary moment when Buechele got hit hard trying to run for a first down. Khalil Herbert is in as the tailback for the Jayhawks as they face this 3rd down and 3.
Pressure coming from Texas.
They have the ball. He'll be very close to first down yardage. That's very close.
See, the Kansas players are talking about tempo. They want to go fast. They think that can be their advantage.
It's 4th down. Bobbled the snap. Did he get the yardage? Stanley had trouble coming up with the snap as they tried the quick quarterback sneak.
He's not getting a great spot from the official on this side. I thought he might have got a little bit more, but not sure when his knee was down.
And who has the ball under that pile? And something for Scott Campbell and his crew to sort out here, which they will do for the moment. So interesting call, an interesting moment here. When Stanley came out from under center, he was still trying to get that ball and bring it into his body while he was pushing to his left to get in behind the guard and try and dive forward for the first down.
When a backwards pass recovered by the offense will measure to see if the lineman gain was made.
Backwards pass.
Maybe I missed something, and we'll see on the replay, but it looked to me like he was still bobbling the ball when he came out from under center.
Yeah, and I thought he controlled it to the ground as he pushed it forward. The question is, a backwards pass would maybe if somebody else came up with the ball.
Yep. All right, so they got the ball spotted at about the 22-yard line. Watch him coming out from under center here.
Yeah, they're trying to go fast. Ball's definitely out right there. And then I think he recovered? Can't tell. They're at the bottom of the pile.
He was fighting hard to try and get his hands back on it for sure.
And actually, if it's a 4th down play, can only the guy who fumbled it recover it if it goes beyond the line of scrimmage?
Let's see what the measurement looks like here. Missed it by that much. Texas ball.
That game of inches, when you're trying to change the culture, when it goes against you, it's very difficult.
A couple of plays make the difference in a ball game. That one could have trouble on the exchange, on the attempt to hurry up and go for it on 4th down. And the ball goes over to the Longhorns on downs. Texas leading 7-0. Buechele getting ready to come back in. Two series ago for the Texas offense, quarterback Shane Buechele wrapped hard as he tried to run and get a first down, went out of the game, went to the Texas locker room, was examined by the medical staff, has come back to the sideline, and now is coming back onto the field as the Longhorns lead 7-0. That one touchdown, a 75-yard touchdown pass on the first play from scrimmage in the ball game after the opening kick.
Pretty quiet ever since.
Yeah. Deontay Foreman with a few. He'll get it out to about the 25-yard line. Give him a couple on that one. So Foreman today so far, 11 carries, 44 yards, averaging 4 a haul.
Kansas defense doing a nice job of managing the receivers on the outside and adding to the box on the inside.
Throw from Buechele out to the far side, wrestled down shy of the line to gain was Armonte Foreman, and it will bring up 3rd down for the Longhorns. The twin brother of Deontay, who was kind of the prize recruit originally. But Deontay saying one of his goals was to get out from under his brother's shadow. Asked him the other day, have you? He said, yep, and I'm not done yet.
but they get great critical evaluation from each other in regard to performance in every game.
Brotherly competition, right? Nothing like it. Can the Horns convert? Buechele will carry and get the line to gain before he is knocked down on that far side. So first down for Texas as Buechele holds on to the ball. That's the first third down conversion of the day for the Longhorns. Buechele going to take a shot. Underthrown and intercepted. Fish Smithson, one of the seniors for this Kansas team, creates the turnover.
He played the route very well. He saw the out and up or the wheel route coming out of the backfield. He played it from the inside out.
There is a flag, 44-yard line, far side of the field. So we check the penalty.
The result of the play is an interception by Kansas. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 9, Kansas, taunting. 15-yard penalty. Kansas will keep the ball, first down.
The senior captain for the Jayhawks getting a talking to by his head coach.
Yeah, take a look. He's right here. Watch him as this play develops.
That's number 9, first unsportsmanlike conduct foul for the game.
See him play it from the inside out. He plays the ball very, very well. But, you know, oftentimes when you haven't had a lot of success, you get way too excited. And I'm not sure what he did there, but obviously the official didn't like it.
Well, anytime you take a step toward the opposing bench and are saying anything, whether they can hear what you're saying or not, that's probably not going to go well for you.
If you go celebrate with your teammates, that's supposed to be okay. I'm not sure what that was, but obviously not the right thing to have said.
So they back him up to the 25-yard line, but another turnover, second consecutive turnover generated by the Jayhawk defense. And the ability to create some doubt in the minds of a favored visiting opponent. This is Steven Sims, and he will get nothing. In fact, he'll lose about a half a yard. Nicely played on the outside by Deshaun Elliott. And so a second down and long for Kansas.
He'd rather be a down the field receiver. He likes posts and streaks. He likes to be out there where he can make a play, but he'll still catch the ball in the middle, and one of the fastest, shiftiest guys with the ball in his hands.
Empty backfield, 5 wides.
Sort of in your face. This is challenging the Texas defense.
Stanley throws in behind and in between a couple of receivers, and it'll bring up third down and long.
And Texas was up to that. They had it covered on the top side and brought pressure off the bottom. They're going to look at this again, bringing up a third down situation now. Third and long. Pressure coverage. You got to understand, am I calling plays to defeat pressure or calling plays to defeat coverage?
3 of 9 on third down in the game for the Jayhawks. Pressure coming, the shovel pass. Spin move by Keon Kinner. He will get out to about the 31-yard line, but that's going to be 4 shy of what he needs, and the punt team will come on for the Jayhawks. The Longhorns get the stop.
Takeaways are only good, some coaches would tell you, if you can score from those takeaways or turnovers. If you don't, it's just like a punt away or whatever.
So Ja'Cory Warwick, who had the touchdown reception to start the game for the Longhorns, stands back deep to receive the Cole Moose punt. He'll take it at the 35, miss one, but then get tripped up and knocked down. And Texas will start at about its 39-yard line. A lot of great games going on today. Let's check in with Cassidy.
Thanks, Alan. Number 3, Michigan looking for their 21st straight win over Indiana, but Kamion Patrick gets the direct snap and gets in to put the Hoosiers on top 7-3. This one in the second over on ESPN. Alan, Mike?
That Big Ten East race is so fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, they're all fascinating to me.
Ohio State squeaking out the win over Michigan State earlier today. The 2-point conversion try by the Spartans. Of course, watching Penn State also to see how this is all going to play out in Michigan, Ohio State next Saturday at noon on ABC. So the Longhorns with the ball, and the inside pass to Gerard Hurd. He's out to about the 49-yard line. It'll bring up second and short. You take a shot here?
I would always take a shot if we can.
They'll swing it wide. Hurd will have to fight off a defender, and he'll get the first down yardage. Nice play on the outside there by Mike Lee, 11 for Kansas, who was on top of it, but he missed the tackle, and so the Longhorns get the first down.
And Hurd has made the transition from quarterback to receiver very well. He's got speed, he's got size, he's handled it well. He's been a positive influence on this team.
Michelle throws a pick. Lots of green field ahead. Brandon Stewart is going to score for the Jayhawks. A third consecutive turnover for the Texas offense.
Brandon Stewart got quick feet, great hips, and he can run 4.37. So with the ball in his hands, very few people are going to catch him.
A 50-yard interception return for the senior from Cedar Hill, Texas. And now the point after try kick will come from Matthew Wyman. And our ball game is tied with 5 minutes to go in this second quarter. This Texas team has had troubles playing on the road this year. They're having some today.
They have. Let's take a look at how this unfolds. This is not a great throw. They're playing inside there. And what happens is the receiver going inside gets bumped by another guy, by a defender. But Stewart in the right place at the right time. Bouchel anticipating his guys are going to come underneath. Nice break by Stewart on the ball, and then off to the races.
So his third interception of the season, and the best cover guy for the Jayhawks takes it into the end zone. Defensive points always valuable, and a 7-apiece ball game here in this second quarter. And so the Texas offense will quickly have to brush it off and come right back onto the field. Talking to Charlie Strong about his team's road record, he said, "We're young, we play so well at home." He hoped that the Texas Tech win. He felt like the Texas Tech win made his team more confident of dealing with a bad environment and what they're doing on the road. As respectfully as I can say it, this is not the most intimidating environment you can play on the road, and yet the Longhorns have turned the ball over a few consecutive times. It'll be Warwick. Hit and dropped at his 18-yard line. Flag down. Flag sitting at about the 23 by the near hash mark. We'll see if that's going to back the Longhorns up or go the other way. Looking to the Texas sideline, so that's going to cost Kansas some yardage. And going to talk about it some more. So Scott Campbell heads over to talk to Charlie Strong, make sure they understand what all the ramifications are.
Personal foul, hands to the face, number 14, kicking team. 15 yards added to the end of the run. Texas ball, first down.
All right, so big chunk of free yardage for the Longhorns, Chris.
Alan, you were mentioning the struggles on the road. When I talked to Charlie Strong, he said really had to do with focus, and I would preach focus, but then it became something, you preached it so much that you made a mountain out of a molehill. But he did say after that Texas Tech game that they thought they had gotten better. Interesting note, they come in later on Fridays than most teams do. Most get here mid-afternoon. They didn't arrive yesterday until the evening, so it takes some of that extra time away.
Chris, thanks. So here's Deontay Foreman with the first down carry for the Longhorns. And now this Texas offense, they just need to settle down.
Yeah, they have something to prove. They got the one big play earlier, and they've really done nothing since then. I think the Kansas team is getting a little bit more excited, a little bit more energy, a little bit more belief.
Good first down gain, so it's second down and 5. Shane Bouchel's numbers on the game, 9 of 14. 109 yards, the one touchdown to start the game, but 2 interceptions since. Here's Foreman, ball is out again. Kansas has got it. Dorrance Armstrong. The big sophomore from Houston has the ball at the Texas 43-yard line. Another turnover for the Longhorns.
I was just about to say that if it were me, I would put the ball in Deontay Foreman's hands because he's the thing you can trust. However, as we watch this play in the belt, they might have heard me, but this didn't finish the way it needed to be. Here he is, just, well, that ball comes out.
Came out of his hand.
He didn't even touch that. I mean, nobody touched that. That is very poor ball security. I think he knocks it. Oh, no, there's a hand that came out.
Okay.
Came out. Yeah.
That's the third consecutive game, Mike, that Foreman has fumbled, and they've lost the fumble.
Kevin Rosser, I think, hit that in there. So, yeah, the reality is right now, the turnovers, I mean, oh my gosh, Texas is saying what's happening to us, but Kansas has to take advantage of this opportunity.
And his brother Armandi either trying to give him a pep talk or saying, hey, what's going on here? Let's go. We need you. So, another turnover. Kansas with the ball in plus territory. Carter Stanley's going to go for it with a long outside pass, and it's caught by Steven Sims, and he's out of bounds at the 12-yard line.
Pressure was the response from Texas. Looked to me as if they were in a zone blitz type thing, but nice job of finding Steven Sims down the field, and a perfect throw by Carter Stanley. His best throw of the day. Who said quarterbacks don't get excited?
33 yards on that one. He'll throw for the end zone over the top of Sims, who looked like he had trouble getting away from the defender at the line of scrimmage.
They got to take some shots. They're still not sure their offense can work every down, play in, play out against this Texas defense. They've got to take shots and take opportunities. They want to come away with points here.
Second and goal, Kansas, number 10.
Hand it off inside. Taylor Martin will get a couple. He'll get down to about the 8-yard line, and it will set up third down and goal for the Jayhawks. There's Martin, 24, the sophomore from Fort Worth, 5'10", 200-pounder.
Steady diet of pressure so far. I would move the quarterback. I'd get him on the edge, give him a run-pass opportunity here.
Can the Jayhawks take the lead for the first time in the game? Take advantage of some more points off turnovers. The offense has not been to the end zone yet today. There's the pressure. Down goes Stanley. Edwin Freeman got through for the Longhorns.
And you need to have an answer to pressure. You know that since Charlie has taken over, Charlie Strong as his defensive coordinator and play caller, they've added a tremendous amount of pressure. You got to be ready for that. You can't be surprised by it.
David Beatty is standing with the side judge at the 20-yard line near side, so I think they're going to let the play clock run all the way down, then call the timeout and try and pinch Texas a little more, where time of possession and an opportunity to score some points in this second quarter are concerned.
As you said, too, he wants to minimize any opportunities that Texas may have after this next play.
All right, so the timeout here. And a chance for us to talk about tonight's big game in the Big 12. Number 9 Oklahoma in Morgantown to take on number 14 West Virginia. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, streaming live on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. Oklahoma State winning earlier today. Oklahoma needing to win to keep their game lead in the Big 12 Conference Championship standings. And of course, West Virginia just the game behind with more still to play, but a huge opportunity for the Mountaineers, not only in the conference, but in the college football playoff picture.
Yeah, they could throw some a monkey wrench into that whole Big 12 thing going forward.
So the pep talk from teammates continues on the Texas bench, while the field goal unit is on for the Jayhawks, trying to turn a fourth Texas turnover, fourth consecutive turnover into 3 points and a Kansas lead. The senior kicker is Matthew Wynn, Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. And he is good. And the Jayhawks take the lead for the first time in this game. Two interceptions, 2 fumbles. Texas not doing itself any favors. Kansas now out in front. Just tuning in, a scoreline you probably didn't expect to see, as Kansas has turned a series of Texas turnovers into a 3-point lead late in this second quarter. The Texas sideline somewhat stunned, although they're about to get another opportunity to do something about it. That last one, a 5-play, 43-yard drive, wound up with a 36-yard field goal. And remember the 36-yard pass from Carter Stanley to Steven Sims, the key play in that one. Here's Ja'Cory Warwick from about his 2. Stumbles and trips and falls forward to about the 24-yard line. That's where the Longhorn offense will take over. A look at our Pacific Life game summary now, how we've gotten to this point in the contest. Shane Buechele knocked out of the game earlier, went to the locker room for a series, had his neck checked after he got hit on a running play. His numbers on the day, he's thrown 2 picks. Deontay Freeman lost a fumble. Tyrone Swoops lost a fumble when he was in for Buechele.
That was 10 points for Kansas on those turnovers. They probably could have had more and would love to have had more. They have to take advantage of any opportunities they get.
So Kyle Porter, the true freshman running back from Katy, Texas, starts this offensive series in the Longhorn backfield. It's Buechele to Jake Oliver for a first down completion of about 9 yards.
You know, there's plenty of time here, and I think they'd love to get something where Buechele gets untracked a little bit. Other than that first pass, he's been hit or miss throwing the ball today.
There's Porter, who will have the first down and move the chains. Chris?
Deontay Foreman having a really tough time after that last fumble when he was on the sidelines. He had a towel over his head the entire time, and his brother and tight end Caleb Blewett were talking to him the entire time. He didn't say anything, just kept shaking his head underneath the towel.
All right, Chris, thanks. Flag on the far side of the field and play stopped.
False start, number 72. Offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
It's Elijah Rodriguez is playing center today in place of the starting center Zach Shackelford, who is out injured with an ankle problem today.
Penalties and the lack of first downs hurts tempo. Texas right now 110th in the nation in penalties per game.
That one sniffed out very nicely. There he was again, Dorrance Armstrong, who picked up the fumble a bit ago.
No surprise. Tackles for loss and sacks. He's one of the best in this conference, one of the best in the nation. Here you see him flash. He's standing up right in the middle of the field. They move him around because he's such a great pass rusher. They don't want him. They don't want the other team to know where he's going to be every time.
2nd and 20, nearly picked off again. Brandon Stewart, who had the pick 6 a while ago, almost stepped in front of another one.
Wow, did he get a great break on that football. And one of the things, too, receivers have to come back to the ball to protect the quarterback. You run down and stop, the DB is going to break as soon as you stop. That was one of those cases where the receiver has to become a defender and help come back to the football, too.
3rd and 20 for the Longhorns. They'll throw it well short of first down yardage to Jake Oliver. Kevin Shaw on the stop for Kansas, and the kick team will come back onto the field with Texas facing a 4th and 10.
Timeout, Kansas, 2nd of the half, 30-second timeout. For the game clock operator, please reset the game clock. 1 minute.
Here's the story of the day. Swoops fumbling when he was in for Buechele. The 2 picks thrown by Buechele. One that went for 6 the other way. At Brandon Stewart taking it back 50 yards for a touchdown. And then Deontay Foreman losing the ball there. And really, if you think about it, with 4 turnovers, you could be in a lot worse shape than just down by 3.
Yeah, the Texas defense to hold Kansas at 10 points despite the 4 turnovers is amazing. Kansas took that timeout. They're saving time. We'll see what they can mount a less than 2-minute drive here to the end of half.
Dixon, 3rd in the nation in punt average. Standing back at his own 21-yard line. Quaviante Gonzalez loses the ball, and it's going to roll out of bounds at the 13-yard line. Lucky bounce for Gonzalez as it bounced off him, but rolled out of bounds.
This is a little bit longer distance than Carter Stanley would like to negotiate. This ball just hits him a little bit too high, misjudged it slightly. Fortunate bounce for Kansas to go out of bounds there.
Jayhawks will get the ball to start the second half. So if they can get something here without risking anything, they'd certainly like to have a shot at it. Minute 1 to go. and 1 timeout.
Yeah, that's not a lot of time. I think they'll see what a first play can generate, and then if they get a big play that gets them out of the shadow of their own end zone, they may consider putting a drive together.
Carter Stanley, 9 of 20 throwing, 90 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. The redshirt freshman quarterback from Vero Beach, Florida, standing at his own 9-yard line. He'll hand it off to Keon Kinner, who'll get out to about the 17 or so.
Yeah, I think it all depended on it, whether they got a punt return or not. I see them now just sitting on this football, running the ball, making sure you don't turn it over. Take that 10-7 lead into halftime.
Well, the Jayhawks trying to get their first win over an FBS team, in a couple of seasons. They're going to go to the locker room, provided Texas doesn't start calling a timeout here, which they don't appear to. Going to go to the locker room with a lead. And Charlie Strong's Texas team has had difficulty when playing from behind in the second half. They are 1-16 trailing at the half under Charlie Strong, the Longhorns are. So turnovers after Texas scored on a 75-yard touchdown pass to start the game on the first play from scrimmage. They've turned the ball over 4 times, and they trail Kansas 10-7 at halftime here in Lawrence. We'll have more on all the action going on around college football from the studio after these messages and a word from our ABC station. On Senior Day in Lawrence, the homestanding Kansas Jayhawks lead the Texas Longhorns by a field goal as we get ready to start the second half. A look at our first half stats brought to you by Garmin, and the real big number are the turnovers and points off turnovers. Texas turning the ball over 4 times, and Kansas scoring all 10 of their points off of those turnovers. The Longhorns have been so good at generating turnovers, and they haven't done it yet in this ballgame. Alan Bestwick, College Football Hall of Famer, Coach Mike Bellotti. So for Texas, really, turning the ball over, there aren't many games you can turn it over 4 times and still have a chance to win. They've got a chance.
They're still in this ball game. They have a history of not winning, though, when they're behind at halftime. Conversely, Kansas has been ahead going into the fourth quarter, has not been able to finish games. They have to believe that they're 14 points down. Talking to their players yesterday, they said, we have to learn how to close out games, how to finish games. Here's a great opportunity against a really good football program.
It has been a long time since Kansas has beaten an FBS opponent. Their lone victory this season came over FCS, Rhode Island. So can they play another half, scoring more points than the Longhorns? And for Texas, can they find a way to do something that they have not done much of, which is win when they're trailing at halftime under Charlie Strong? Kansas deferring in the first half. They get the ball to start this second half. And they'll start from about their 24-yard line. Chris Budden is down on the field.
Well, this is the same situation that Kansas was in last week up at halftime against Iowa State when they ended up losing. I talked to David Beatty. He told his team it boils down to trust. All 11 guys have to trust the scheme, because what happens is only if 10 guys don't buy in, the ball always finds that one guy who doesn't trust. One other thing, look out for fatigue. The coaches told us yesterday.
Number 41, 5 yards added at the end of the run.
The coaches told us yesterday it's been some of the problem with the fourth quarter is that they just don't have the same numbers. They have some more guys out today, so watch for fatigue.
Depth issues and so on, belief. But right now the Jayhawks come out of the locker room with belief. The 5 yards on the Texas offside on the kickoff moves it out to the 32-yard line, and Carter Stanley will hand off to Keon Kinner to start the second half for the Jayhawk offense.
Though the Jayhawk offense has not generated a lot of offense, one of the things you have to guard against as a coach is playing like you're ahead. If the players want to play like they're behind, you have to call plays as if you're behind. Take some chances. Be willing to air the ball out.
For Carter Stanley, the stats on the young redshirt freshman quarterback: 9 of 20, 90 yards, no touchdowns, but no interceptions. He'll throw here. Incomplete. Intended for LaQuivante Gonzalez, and a lot of pressure was coming, dressed in white.
Yeah, and it looked as if, there was a miscommunication between quarterback and receiver. Receiver expected the ball one place, quarterback threw it another, probably a result of the pressure in his face.
So a third down here for the Jayhawks to try and keep their offense on the field to start this third quarter. They need the 42. Stanley throws, it's in the air, it's intercepted! Texas gets its first turnover of the game to start this third quarter. Edwin Freeman comes up with the ball.
And Texas has been living by the blitz. On that, they chose to fake it, drop into coverage, dropped 8 in coverage. Carter Stanley trying to fit in a very tight window there, got the ball tipped and intercepted.
So for Stanley, the 4th interception that he's thrown this season.
And take a look, nice job in the zone, reading the route, see him break on the ball, get the tip, and then that's just the thing you practice every day as a defense, tip drill in that secondary.
There's John Bonney who made the hit, and then Freeman came up with the interception. Remember, Freeman had one bounce off his hands earlier in the first half.
And as we've talked about, interceptions, turnovers are great. They're better when you can capitalize and score points.
So here comes Shane Buechele to start the second half. He has D'Onta Foreman in behind him, and he'll throw on first down, near side. This is Devin Duvernay, and he'll be inside the 30, down to about the 27-yard line.
Duvernay, the guy that they've got to get a little room to because he is so fast. If he breaks open, nobody's going to catch him.
Horns go with tempo. Foreman's got the ball, looking for the edge, and he's got it. Oh, just grabbed by the shoe tops, and a maybe touchdown-saving tackle by Fitz Smithson for Kansas.
And he can get the edge. That guy, like I said, he can pick him up and lay him down. It's the first time he's got to the outside with any opportunity.
Gain of 8. 2nd and 2. Foreman again with the ball. First down. 2 hands wrapped around that ball as he fell to the ground at the 14.
I think 2 things. They're going to look for D'Onta Foreman to reinvent himself right here. No fumbles. They're going to put the ball in his hands. He's going to carry it in because they trust him. They believe in him, and it's going to be an opportunity for this Texas team to take the lead and also reestablish his confidence.
Correct myself, the 16-yard line for the Horns. First down. Foreman again into the pile. Nicely stood up on the inside by 96 Daniel Wise, the defensive tackle for the Jayhawks, and a short gain.
You know, the issue today, too, with the center being out, Shackelford being out, Rodriguez playing there, McMillan being out, Vahi, they're not getting the same type of push they've had all season long. They've had a mismatch of groupings in that offensive line. It's been a factor.
So after the substitution hold, Texas has Andrew Beck, 47, into the game in a tight end position, lined up on that left wing. Foreman will have the ball. He'll have a lot of room around the right. Hit and knocked down by Mike Lee, and he'll be dropped at the 7-yard line, very close to a first down.
And notice the defensive backs for Kansas are hitting him low, which is a great idea because he's 250 pounds. You got to cut his legs out from under him. You cannot try to take him up high.
Foreman again will push to the 5-yard line, and that'll give the Longhorns a 1st and goal from just inside the 5. So D'Onta Foreman, after fumbling in the first half and being just distraught over on the far bench, getting the load of the carries here to start this second quarter after the Longhorns create the turnover. And they look to see if they can punch it into the end zone and go back into the lead.
Kansas is packing the box here.
Foreman's going to run into it anyway, and he'll get down to about the 2-yard line before he's stacked up and knocked down.
It gets a little interesting down here, this type of call.
Charlie Strong waving, go, tempo, tempo.
Typically, it's 2nd down. You'd run a play action here and come back and run it on 3rd down if you don't score.
Beck resets to the right. They'll give it to Foreman going that way. Penetration. Can they stop him, or will he power it into the end zone? Touchdown, Texas.
He was a man on a mission right there.
D'Onta Foreman goes into the end zone for his 14th rushing touchdown of the season. One of the best Jayhawks defenders got a hold of him right there. Dorrance Armstrong too, but he couldn't bring him down.
Oh, it's close. I'll tell you what, it looks like he breaks the plane though, but his elbow is down.
Yeah, watch the left elbow though. Did that hit before the right elbow got into the end zone?
That's what I'm saying. The left elbow is down.
Oh, no.
Where the ball is.
No, I'm going to just say to you, if you watch again, his forearm, his wrist was on the ground, but the elbow was up.
The ruling on the field is a touchdown. The previous play is under further review.
Watch really closely. where that white tape is on his left wrist, that was flat on the ground, but watch the elbow underneath that pile.
All right, let's take a look here. Yeah.
Where did his knee hit?
Yeah,
you know.
There's a few body parts. Yeah, that's hard to tell right there because you can't see the elbow from this view. The ball does barely break the plane, but it's at that point right there, the head of the ball, and yeah, could his elbow or something other body part been down? There may not be enough to overturn anything because it was called a touchdown on the field.
Call on the field was a touchdown. Need indisputable video evidence beyond all doubt to overturn it. Even if they overturn it, it's going to be on the 1 foot line for the Longhorns. But I suspect that the Longhorns have a go-ahead touchdown here.
That game of inches we keep talking about, so far it has not favored Kansas.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
So Foreman, 7 carries for 28 of the 38 yards the Longhorns needed on that drive after the Kansas turnover. And now the point after try will come from Trent Domang to try and make it a 4-point lead for Texas. And so it is 14-10 Texas. Longhorns did all the turning over of the football in the first half. To start the second half, the Jayhawks turned it over, and Texas made them pay. The leading running back in the nation in terms of yards per game. Had a tough first half. He's gotten his second half off to a solid start and helped the Texas Longhorns back into the lead over the Kansas Jayhawks, 14-10. That was J.J. Gelasso. Cracked fairly solidly, and the Jayhawks get ready to take over the ball. Look at our good hands play, brought to you by Allstate. Happened in the second quarter when Brandon Stewart picked off a Texas pass and took it 50 yards to the house.
He's got quick feet, great hips, and 4.37 speed. Nice opportunity there for him.
So Stewart with the defensive touchdown, the senior from Cedar Hill, Texas, on senior day. Final home game for him here in Lawrence. Now can the Jayhawk offense regroup and answer after the pickoff and turning over the ball by Carter Stanley on their last possession. Longhorns bring a lot of bodies, and a running play will go fairly nowhere for Keon Kinner. Lots of people at the bottom of the pile.
Kinner is a tough inside runner, but they need to get him on the edge. They need to try some screens and flat passes where he can get out in the open field and attack the defense out away from the big bodies inside.
There's Kinner and out in the flat. And he's nicely played to the far side of the field by P.J. Locke, who knocks him down for Texas. Third down coming up. Tell you what else I sense here. All that energy and momentum that the Jayhawks had carrying into the locker room. When they turn the ball over on that first possession of this third quarter, they're starting from scratch, trying to build that belief again.
The wind went out of their sails, you're saying?
Yeah, that, you know, oh no, here we go again kind of thing.
Well, they are behind, though, and they want to play from behind. They want to learn how to do that.
Yeah, you got your answer, you got your wish, I guess, but...
May not be the coach's wish.
Yeah. Need the 29-yard line to stay on the field. Stanley under pressure, throws it downfield and well out of bounds, and a flag comes in on the far side.
It's probably going to be unnecessary roughness, which is not a very smart penalty at that point.
Scott Campbell heads the Big 12 officiating crew, overseeing the game. They stand in a huddle right at the 20-yard line. And now we find out.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both by the defense. Personal foul, face mask, number 2, defense. That penalty is declined. Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 23, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Jeffrey McCulloch gets tagged for roughing the passer.
And this happens on a play where he's just throwing the ball away. It's really senseless at that point. And I'll tell you, the official was right there, and Charlie Strong saying, why do you do that? Why would you do that?
So they move the ball out to the 39-yard line, and the Jayhawk offense gets to stay on the field. They have this one smelled out. Now what are you going to do? Lose a bunch of yardage. Steven Sims knocked down way in the backfield, and all over that one were the Longhorns.
Yeah, they stayed at home, did a nice job. I would have told Sims, throw the ball away.
Deshaun Elliott got into the backfield, and about as soon as Stanley handed that ball off, he turned around, saw 4 in white standing there, tried to put a block on him.
Try to get 10 yards back on this down and get to a manageable third down. Try to get something positive. Showing pressure, but I believe going to back out this Texas defense.
Throws to a receiver, far side. It's caught by Sims, out of bounds. He's shy of the original line of scrimmage, but they got a chunk of it back.
Yeah, that's what you're designed to do. Second and that long, you just want to be smart and safe and try to get a somewhat manageable third down.
So it's 3rd and 13. They'll hand it off to Kinner, and he's tracked down from behind. Brecklin Hager was there.
Brecklin Hager just has too much speed coming off that edge. If he's not blocked, you're not going to be able to run away from him. They love him. They call him the Madman on defense.
So the Madman makes the Kansas offense mad as they trot off the field, and the punt unit comes on. Good kick for Cole Moose. Fair catch signaled for, and then they'll let the ball bounce out of bounds, and the Horn offense will come on and start at their 33.
College football presented by Jared the Galleria of Jewelry. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. And Buick. It's Black Friday all month long at your Buick dealer.
Allen Fieldhouse, where all the championship banners hang in the rafters. Beware of the fog. Kansas beating Siena in their last night in a basketball game. Hawks at 2-1. And Deontay Foreman of Texas, 11 yards away from breaking the record he shares with Earl Campbell for 11 consecutive games with 100+ yards rushing as Texas running backs.
He's a man on a mission. He's got something to prove right now. I'd love to see him carry the ball about 20 times.
So the junior from Texas City, Texas, who scored the touchdown to start the second half for the Longhorns after fumbling twice in the first half. He's got the ball here. And he's got the record. And he's still going out across midfield.
We talked about him being relentless. He breaks tackles, he drags people, he does not go down. And when he does, he falls forward.
So he needed 11, he got 19 on that one. So another 100-yard rushing game for Deontay Foreman.
This is what he does. See him dance a little bit, sets it up, runs through a couple tackles, stays down. Great job. You practice that of rolling off the would-be tackler and keep going.
So up to 108 yards of rushing today. And now the record holder at Texas for consecutive 100-yard rushing games. Chance to add on to it here. And he'll have some more squirting through a little hole in the center of a jumble of players. Chris?
Well, last week when Deontay Foreman tied Earl Campbell, Earl was there at halftime and whispered in his ear, "Congratulations. I hope you break the record next week. But one day when someone else breaks your record, make sure you call them up and congratulate them as well."
Great piece of advice from Earl Campbell as Foreman continues to climb the ladder in so many Texas rushing categories. A lot of them have Ricky Williams at the top of the list.
There's some pretty good backs that have played there. He's going to be one of the best.
Bouchel's pass batted down. DeIsaac Davis, 99 for Kansas, swats that one away. And it's 4th down, and the Longhorns can't convert.
A lot of decision-making there by Texas on the sideline. I think Kansas is doing a great job of mixing coverage with pressure, and they're trying to read pass versus run in those situations, and it's causing Bouchel a lot of problems.
Smithson back, signals fair catch at the 10, but the ball is over his head. Nice little decoy, but it will bounce and be down at the 7-yard line. Kansas ball, trailing by 4.
They'll never admit it, but Michigan and Ohio State actually love each other.
Will be a great matchup next Saturday at noon on ABC as two of the most successful programs in the history of college football go at it for stakes yet to be determined today. Ohio State eking out a win over Michigan State. Michigan playing now against Indiana. They've just retaken the lead, but it's a 3-point ball game.
Michigan's got more wins, but Ohio State's got more trophies.
So here in Lawrence, Kansas, who led Texas at halftime by a field goal, turned the ball over on its first offensive possession of the second half, led to the Longhorns' go-ahead score. They forced the Longhorn offense off the field, and Carter Stanley, the redshirt freshman quarterback, trying to lead the Jayhawks down and see if they can get some points on the board. That's Khalil Herbert, the freshman from Coral Springs, Florida, with the carry up the middle.
Trying to find a matchup that works for him. Trying to find a one-on-one situation with the wide receiver. Some play coming out of the backfield. They isolate a running back on a linebacker. So far, they haven't had that opportunity.
There's a 3rd down and 5 already for the Jayhawk offense. They are thin on defense. They're thin everywhere, really. You can't keep going 3 and out and push this game toward the 4th quarter, keeping your defense on the field. 2 of 13 on 3rd down today for Kansas.
Sort of a radar look. Everybody's standing up for Texas. Not sure who to block.
In behind the intended receiver, Tyler Patrick, and it's incomplete. He was hit there by Deshaun Elliott, and the punt unit will have to come on for Kansas.
Great break on the ball by Elliott. I thought that pass was going to be completed, but just a hesitation, just a second late, and Deshaun Elliott broke on the ball so well.
So the Texas offense will get another chance at the ball. Ja'Cory Warwick is standing at midfield, and whistles and flags and a false start, and Kansas is going to get backed up for 5 more yards.
False start, number 23. Offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
So now Cole Moose will be standing in his own end zone to kick this ball.
And you don't want to say that you have to play perfectly to have a chance to win, but certainly you can't shoot yourself in the foot. Even little penalties make a difference.
He's deep in his own end zone.
And the punt returner stands at the 37-yard line. You know you're going to get good field position.
Takes it at the 44. Hit right away by Tyler Patrick and knocked down, but Texas still with plus field position to take over the ball. Check back in the studio with Cassidy.
All right, Alan, we have a bit of a stunner in the Pac-12. Number 12, Utah, up 28-24 over Oregon. 2 seconds to go. Justin Herbert to Darren Carrington, back of the end zone. Count it. Oregon upsets Utah 30-28. Now over on ESPN right now, Davion Smith with a 34-yard touchdown run, and look how he finishes, ending with this great dive over the pylon. Michigan up 13-10 with 43 seconds to go in the 3rd. Back to you guys.
All right, Cassidy. Coach Bellotti, the winningest coach in Oregon football history, broke into a little smile when you reported that score.
Did you see my credit card jump? I don't have a lot of hang time anymore. No, I was excited and happy for Mark Helfrich and his coaching staff and those Duck players. They worked very hard. They got embarrassed by Utah last year. They came back and won a close one at the end.
Shane Buechele throws far side. Dorian Leonard has the ball. He's close to the marker, but going to be a little shy of the yard to gain, and it's quickly 3rd and about 2 for the Longhorns. Foreman will squirt through and have the first down. They'll move the chains, and the Longhorns down inside the 35.
Dorian Leonard's a tough matchup, 6'4", 200. He had a breakout game last week against West Virginia, catching 7 passes for 125 yards.
Buechele hit and dropped in the backfield. There's Daniel Wise again for the Jayhawks.
Looked as if Buechele was actually looking for Leonard that time. Didn't get a chance because Wise surprised him.
Daniel Wise, the sophomore from Louisville, Texas.
Watch him inside there. He does a great job. He's just really an over-under move, just push-pull on his guy on him, and great move, great finish.
And again, a couple of players out for Texas on the offensive line today. Center and left guard different than they were a week ago. Here's Foreman again, grinding it up to about the 36-yard line. And it'll be 3rd and long, about 3rd and 11 now for the Longhorns.
And you hope to get a little bit more there, but they were pretty conservative with the running play there. Got to find a way to get 11 yards here. Kansas doing a nice job. They're looking at 2 deep safety. Look right now, look like they're going to play coverage rather than pressure.
Well, both teams have been kind of tough converting 3rd downs today. Kansas 2 of 14, Texas only 3 of 11 on 3rd down. They'll hand it off. And nice, perhaps 1st down saving tackle. Mike Lee, the freshman from New Orleans, got a hold of Foreman's shoes and brought him down, and it's 4th down.
I'll tell you what, he was the last line of defense. Had he broken that tackle, he was gone all the way.
Be a little outside of field goal range here, so it looks like they might leave the offense on there and go for it.
They've done the quarterback pooch punt before too, but this will be interesting to see.
It would be a 49-yarder if they tried to kick the field goal.
Maybe they got a play they like. They've got him in the pistol, so I think it's going to be a play.
Buechele to throw. Going for it on the outside. Trying to adjust and come back for the ball was Colin Johnson, and a flag comes in.
And I think that's going to be pass interference. I don't think the DB played the ball at all. There was contact there before the ball arrived.
The official right in front of the play did not throw the flag, but the other referee in the center of the field didn't hesitate, pulled it out and threw it.
Pass interference, number 10. Defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
Watch the end of this play. Here it is right here. There's contact. There's the push. No playing of the football. Pretty easy call. The back judge, the field judge couldn't see it there. He was blocked off, but pretty good view for the official on the other side.
Yeah, that's a good call. So with the yardage, the Longhorns get to keep the offense on the field. Ball down to the 17-yard line, leading by 4. And trying to see if they can make the penalty hurt for Kansas. Deontay Foreman. Nice 1st down yardage up through the middle. Maybe 4 there before he's knocked down by Keith Lonecker.
You're talking to your defense from the sideline about hold them here, hold them. Last thing, make them kick a field goal so we keep it a 1-score ball game.
Got a Texas player down. That is Caleb Blewett, the tight end. And a timeout on the field. So injury timeout here in Kansas. Texas with a 4-point lead. Caleb Blewett helped off the field by the Texas medical staff. You see him being looked at over behind the bench. And so now facing 2nd and 7. The Longhorn offense goes back to work at the Kansas 14-yard line. The pass interference call, giving the Longhorns the chance to keep the offense on the field. Buechele kept it. He'll dive down inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line. Remember, Shane Buechele knocked out of the game briefly earlier in the ball game when he tried to pick up a 1st down carrying the ball, got hit hard, went off the field, went to the locker room. While he was away, Tyrone Swoops fumbled. He came back. He's come back into the game. They had their turnover problems, but now they've got a chance to try and extend the lead here with a 3rd down and 2.
And I'm glad to see he's still comfortable carrying the football.
Nothing doing there. Smithson was all over that one.
Won't be as comfortable after that one. You know, Texas is being very deliberate in their play calling, taking time off the clock. It's almost as if they're playing this like this is the end of the game, trying to run out the clock, and I'm surprised a little bit. So we can see here just great penetration. He does a great job, Smithson, of reading the zone read and staying on the outside, making sure he took care of his defensive responsibility.
I don't know if Foreman should have been blocking Smithson after the ball was pulled or not, but either way, the field goal unit's on. Here's Trent Domang, the graduate transfer, who's had his troubles on the road kicking this year, but he'll look to make it a 7-point lead for the Horns. This from 31. No, wide left. And the road struggles continue for Domang. So a look at our Pacific Life game summary now. Those turnovers in the first half really were the story of that first half for Texas. They fumbled it twice, and Bouchel threw 2 picks.
Kansas able to get 10 points off those turnovers. Nice job by Smithson there. And then Brandon Stewart on the way. The strip of Foreman. Him coming out actually making a play.
This is Foreman now in the second half, getting over that 100 yards and fighting his way into the end zone to put the Longhorns back out on top. So Foreman with a fumble, Swoops with a fumble, the 2 picks for Bouchel, but again, the Texas defense has been able to keep the Kansas offense from getting anything much going. Of those 10 points, 7 of them were defensive points for the Jayhawks. And now their offense again trying to see if they can make something happen after the missed field goal. Kind of put that missed field goal on top of the turnovers, and it's been an error-filled day here in Lawrence for Texas. And if they can get out of here with a win, they'll look back on that one and maybe think they got away with one. Complete. Stanley to Gonzalez, ball's out, and it's picked up before it goes out of bounds. Deshaun Elliott. And the ball is turned over again by the Jayhawks.
Just not a pretty game so far for either team. Too many turnovers. Frustration involved for both sides. You can see a clear catch and run afterwards. Great job of coming from behind, punching the ball out.
It was McCulloch that came back and got the swat on the ball.
And Deshaun Elliott chasing it down, returning the ball. Puts Texas in very good field position again.
Laquiviante Gonzalez, remember, had a punt bounce off his face mask that rolled out of bounds before the Longhorns could get a hold of it. But this time, they do turn the ball over. And so the second turnover by the Jayhawks gives the Texas offense a chance to run back onto the field. And again, in plus field position at the Kansas 46. Michelle hands off to Foreman. He'll push his way forward to the 40-yard line. And he just passed Earl Campbell for 4th place on the all-time single-season rushing yardage record board for the Longhorns.
I would force the issue. Just continue to give Foreman the ball. They can't stop him. He's going to get 4 yards minimum every time.
That was Ja'Cory Warwick who had the catch there. As you look at Deontay Foreman. Seen earlier in the game, if you weren't with us, after he fumbled the ball, sitting on the bench, his brother talking to him, teammates talking to him, had a towel over his head, didn't play for a series, but has come back at the start of the second half, looking mentally regrouped, certainly, and been a force for the Longhorns in this third quarter.
You made a comment that the Kansas defense are a bunch of warriors because they've been on the field a bunch. In this type of situation, turnovers put them right back on the field. They have depth issues to begin with. It's going to be very difficult for them to finish out this game with that existing crew that they have.
It's kind of one of the problems they ran into last week against Iowa State, is they ran out of gas in the fourth quarter. Well, we head to the fourth quarter now on Senior Day in Lawrence with the Jayhawks trying to pull the upset, but that third quarter belonged to Deontay Foreman and the Longhorns. They lead 14-10, and we're back after this message and a word from your ABC station. Headed to the fourth quarter here in Lawrence. Kansas trying to break a long losing streak. Texas turned the ball over a lot in the second quarter. Kansas made him pay. Now the Longhorns have owned the third quarter in this game after Kansas turned the ball over a couple times. Horns with the ball at the Kansas 33-yard line, 2nd and 8. Bring Hurd around, and he'll be down to about the, make it the 24, 27-yard line, and it'll set up 3rd down and short for Texas.
This is a play where you got to be careful about the shot, see what coverage you got, because 3rd and 2 or 3 is an either or down.
And hand it off to Foreman. He gets hit in the hole, but falls forward. Is it enough?
I don't think so. They marked him short, pretty well short if the spot on this side holds.
About a yard short. So 4th down and 1. Texas lines up quickly. Give it to him again. He'll have the 1st down and more. Falling forward down to about the 16-yard line, Deontay Foreman, who was a force for the Longhorns in that 3rd quarter.
Those situations, if you make it through the first wave, there's typically nobody back there because you're loading the line of scrimmage.
He's got it again. Getting a block on the outside. That's a nice job by his brother Armonte to hold that block on the outside and let Deontay get a few more yards around the corner.
Earl Campbell says he needs to work on his stiff arm, though he had an opportunity right there. he talked to him about that.
Got the end zone ahead, reaching for it, lost the ball. They're going to mark him down at about the 1-yard line.
They may have to take a look and see if the ball was out before his knee hit down. They may not, but reaching forward. Ooh, I tell you what, that's pretty close. What do you think?
It is close. I'd want to see it again.
Yeah, I think so. I think that he may have broken the plane before the knee hit, but they must have seen enough, I guess.
Now they look at everything in the replay booth. Did not stop the game for it, so Foreman here will walk into the end zone, barely touched. Touchdown, Texas. Well, we talked about Kansas, or Texas making turnovers in the first half, and you don't often win a game when you make turnovers. The second half, it's been the Jayhawks that have made the turnovers, and the Longhorns are making them pay.
And they put the ball in Deontay Foreman's hands, and he's responding. Right now, too, the Kansas defense is getting tired.
Domang's point after try is good. The nation's leading rusher by yards per game is into the end zone for another Texas touchdown.
College football presented by Jarrett the Galleria of Jewelry. In part by AT&T and Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Kansas legend, NFL Hall of Famer Gale Sayers, his helmet in the Hall of Fame that sits over next to Allen Fieldhouse. Quick reminder tonight, Big 12 action on ABC in primetime. Number 9 Oklahoma taking on number 14 West Virginia in Morganton, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, streaming live on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. Oklahoma State winning earlier today. Big over TCU. So an important game tonight for both the Sooners and the Mountaineers in the Big 12 championship race and the college football playoff race. Incomplete, pass thrown well behind Shaquem Barbell. And it is 4th down and 4 as Carter Stanley took a beating on that one.
2 of 15 on 3rd downs today for Kansas. They are struggling to have anything handle the pressure and then get open on the outside.
A little while in that second quarter, their offense had some success moving the ball. But you mentioned before that Deontay Foreman's got more yards of rushing than Kansas has total offense in this game. Fair catch made by Ja'Cory Warwick. And so the Longhorn offense will come back onto the field one more time. Tonight, after a great day of college football, Sports Center at night with Bucci and Anderson. A lot of great games to look back on and sort through on the day in college football. That's coming up tonight after USC-UCLA, one of those great games, on ESPN, streaming live on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. Let's check downstairs with Chris.
Well, for Texas, they have a chance to make a bowl game. And I talked to Dylan Haynes, who grew up around the program. His dad played for the Longhorns, so did his brother. He said, when you play for Texas, you think it's a given you're going to go to a bowl game. He said, last year, sitting at home with my parents during Christmas was terrible. I hated it. So the fact that we could go on the road again would mean something very much to this team. Mr. and Mrs. Haynes, it's nothing against you.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, don't take it personally, parents, but when you play football and college football, bowl season, you want to be out with your team.
Well, plus I want to be with my parents, but I want it to be at a bowl game.
At the bowl, yes, exactly. Foreman got the ball again behind a couple of big heavies. He'll be out about the 46-yard line. What does making a bowl mean to a team in practical terms?
Well, it's one of those checks in terms of team success for the year. Keeps the boosters happy for the most part. They may not always like the location, but it's more for the coaches and players. You get 2 to 3 weeks of practice where you can actually develop, coach the young players on the team that haven't been coached since fall camp.
And you've got a lot of really young players on this Texas team. So winning today and becoming bowl eligible would automatically give them a leg up on their spring practice next spring.
Absolutely. You look at fall camp, bowl practice, and spring practice as intense times, intense teaching times, and learning opportunities.
So got a third down here for the Horn offense to try and stay on the field. They bring in Kyle Porter, the freshman, 21 running back. And they need to gain the Kansas 49 to keep this drive going.
It's interesting because they really are just taking time off the clock. They're standing in a formation to take a look and
call a timeout. And they're going to kick, or what are they going to do here? Timeout, Texas. So while they discuss what they're going to do and set the plan, take a look at this week's college football playoff rankings brought to you by Chick-fil-A. With all the chaos of last weekend, not a lot changed.
No, and the teams that got beat are still they're in line for some conference championships. They got nipped at the end of a game. I think it really didn't do too much. The Louisville's loss, in my opinion, helped Washington. No question about that. Now that I think a Pac-12 representative, if Washington can win out, they've got a couple of games at the end of the year against Washington State, who is ranked at this point in a tight game today with Colorado, and then against either Colorado or Utah or somebody from that Southern Division. I think it's probably going to be Colorado, maybe.
Possibly USC again.
Yeah, possibly USC. They're right. And USC, nobody really wants to play USC, to be honest.
Number 10 Colorado may have the toughest schedule in the nation to finish the season. They are playing Washington State as we speak in Boulder and leading. And then next weekend they get to go to Utah. Utah losing to Oregon today. So it's third down and 3.
I'm not really sure what Texas is doing here. Why call a timeout and then spend all this time trying to get a playoff?
Foreman was hit in the hole. Coming up, Keith Lonecker, 33, made that hit, and it's, 4th down and 1. They don't pick it up.
No hesitation, which means they may have a fake call, because when you don't hesitate on a 4th and 1, you either decide in your mind you're going to punt it and play defense, or you got to fake that you want to run at this part of the field. Kansas pretty much keeping their defense on the field, making sure that they eliminate any fake possibility.
Dixon will kick it away. Smithson will fade back and let it fade over his head, and it'll go for the touchback. And Kansas will get another crack at it, trailing by 11, 10.5 to go. So as the Kansas offense gets set to take the field, trailing by 11 in this 4th quarter, here are the streaks they're looking to try and break with a win today. They have had a tough time of it here in Lawrence for the last several years. David Beatty, in his 2nd year as the Jayhawk head coach, believes his team has made progress from last year to this year as they throw incomplete on 1st down. He talked very passionately about what his team's been able to do, and somewhat frustratingly over the fact that it doesn't really show well in terms of wins and losses.
He's a positive coach and wants to make a difference in his players' lives, and he has a plan on how to become successful at this university. He's been here before. He knows how it can do it. He just had to get his players over that hump. They thought they were there last week against Iowa State, a team they matched up with very well. They didn't get that, and that hurt them particularly hard, players and coaches.
Stanley going to tuck it and run with a lot of real estate and take on the defender instead of falling down or sliding, but he's out to the 40-yard line and a 1st down.
Carter, young man, discretion the better part of valor. Get down. Do not take on those big DBs. You're a young quarterback that wants to grow to be an old quarterback.
Going to hand Given to Khalil Herbert. And for the first time in this second half, the Jayhawks will get into Longhorn territory. Chris?
Well, you were talking about how to measure success when it doesn't show up in the win column. And yesterday we met with Clint Bowen. He kept a Post-it note in his pocket, and on it read, red zone defense, third down stops, tackles for loss, sacks. These were all things that they were ranked last in the conference last year and had moved up to first, second, and third this year. Right now yelling at his team, trying to keep positivity.
Well, and you know,
4 takeaways in the first half is pretty positive.
Some ways of measuring success. Again, the ultimate way is for it to show up in wins and losses, and they have not been able to get that so far this year. They've had a couple of close games. They've had an inability to close those close games, like last week. Throw across the middle and complete to Steven Sims, and a first down for the Jayhawks.
Players talked about they need to feel like they were playing from behind, like 14 points behind. Well, they're 11 points behind now. Maybe they got the message. Maybe that's what's jump-starting this offense.
Kansas at the 33.
Some good yardage over the left side by Herbert. 200-pound, 5'9" freshman from Coral Springs, Florida. Missed 4 games with a toe injury. Now back and has his team's longest rushing play of the season this year. Had a 66-yarder against Memphis.
They want to go fast. They've got to keep a mix of run and pass to keep the defense off balance.
Gets it away. This is Steven Sims. He'll trip himself up as he tried to spin back away from the defense. Back to that story of trying to measure success and so on for David Beatty. They've been trying to work their way through a difficult scholarship situation with the turnover in coaching staffs and a couple of turnover in coaching staffs, players leaving, players being sent away by previous coaching regimes and so on. It's put them kind of behind, and this isn't like football where you go to the waiver wire to borrow your line.
No, not like the NFL. You got to go with what you've got, and he was also not going to run off any more kids. He wanted to honor the scholarships of the players that were here. Wanted to try to have them improve and become a better football team and show them what it's like to win. They are more competitive. The scores are closer. They are in games. They have to find a way to get over the hump.
There's a nice throw by Stanley out to Shaquem Barbell and down to the 15-yard line, and a second down and 1 for the Jayhawks. Can they put the ball in the end zone? Sims spins back to the outside. Just touched out of bounds by John Bunny. Couldn't quite get to the pylon, but it's going to be first and goal for Kansas from the 1.
They're going to try to go fast. Watching for tempo here.
Herbert has the touchdown for the Jayhawks. Don't go away just yet. And now the signal right away. 2-point try here for Kansas to try and get this back to a field goal difference.
We're thinking about how we can win this game, how we can tie it, how we can get to the score, a tie score the quickest possible way.
Kansas has tried 1 2-point conversion this year. 0 for 1. They tried to run it.
Typically, you're going to see some type of an RPO here, run-pass option with the quarterback on the edge. We've got the bunch set at the bottom, the left hand of your screen.
Texas has had to defend 1 2-point conversion try this year. It was successful against them on the ground. Timeout, Texas. And Charlie Strong and company wanting to make sure they had the right setup against what they were looking at. So again, a reminder, tonight, the Big 12 battle, number 9, Oklahoma, heading to Morgantown to take on number 14, West Virginia, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, streaming live on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. The Big 12 standings with Oklahoma State winning earlier today. Kansas State with a win earlier today over Baylor. And Iowa State, by the way, just blowing out right now, Texas Tech. So Oklahoma needing to win to stay a game ahead of Oklahoma State. And if West Virginia can win, then we've got, you want to talk about Bedlam?
Bedlam? Yeah, we had double Bedlam, right?
Yeah.
It's a big game tonight.
Yes.
Big game.
Who do you like it and why?
I like Oklahoma simply because their offense, I think, is really, really good. Baker Mayfield very hot right now. D.D. Westbrook, probably the hottest receiver in the nation. But West Virginia, a pretty balanced team. Played good offense, good defense, and they can run the ball.
I'll take West Virginia at home.
Okay.
And a close
that's
one.
a deal.
So a 2-point try to make it a 3-point game.
Look at the bunch set. Watch for something coming out the rub route out of that bunch set on the left side.
Oh, the direct snap and the reverse. Sims looking to throw. Now he'll try for the corner, and he's got it. Razzle-dazzle, 2-point conversion.
He had the option to pass, but both receivers were covered. He couldn't throw back across. He said, I've got this one. I'll take it. I'll make it with my speed.
How about that? Steven Sims, the sophomore from Houston.
Sim coming back over the top. He's trying to throw it, and he's just too fast and too quick for the defense. Recognized he had the edge, decided to go in. Watch the quarterback's trying to get out on the outside. Stanley right there. He doesn't like that throw, isn't sure he can make it, but he does know I can make it in with my speed.
Quarterback's going to take some ribbon in the film room about that route, if that was a pass route.
Well, if that was a route, yeah.
But the 2-point try makes it a 3-point ball game. So Kansas, 10 plays, 80 yards, and 2:48, and with 7:48 to go, their defense has to come back onto the field and try and shut down the Longhorns.
But they're going to be a little bit more excited right now after that. They realize now we're within 3 points of this thing, and they've done a great job for the most part of stopping Texas. Remember those 4 takeaways in the first half.
Matthew Wyman's kick. And Warwick. Out to the 24-yard line as we check back into the studio.
All right, Alan, got some more crazy brewing in the Pac-12. Number 10, Colorado, trailing number 22, Washington State, but quarterback Sifu Lufau with his 3rd rushing touchdown puts the Buffs up 28-24 in the 4th. Back to you guys.
As I said, whoever has the ball last. That's it. And you like Colorado because they're at home, and I think I like Washington State.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. All right.
Yeah, I do like the Buffs at home in that one. We'll see. So here's Shane Buechele. There are his numbers on the day. And here is Deontay Foreman. And now, if you're Texas, 4th quarter, 7.5 to go. This is where you want to hand the ball off, right, and chew up some time.
I give it to the bruiser in the backfield. Just let Deontay run this clock out, run the ball. Block for him up front, give him a start, but he can break tackles. Like I said, that's the way. Just keep the ball.
And keep the sticks moving as he gets the first down there for the Longhorns on his 40th carry of this ball game. And there is a Jayhawk down on the field. That is Courtney Arnick, the senior middle linebacker from Dallas. An injury timeout here in Kansas. Good to see Courtney Arnick walk off the field. Got the check over from the Kansas medical staff and got the thumbs up that he was able to keep his helmet. David Beatty talking to his offense on the sideline. They have another opportunity in a close game in the 4th quarter. Can the defense get off the field? And can the offense find a way to win the ball game? Meanwhile, Shane Buechele and the Longhorns riding the back of Deontay Foreman have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 34-yard line with the clock running down towards 7 minutes to go in the ball game. Maybe 1 on that one with forward progress.
We talked about this. They're being very deliberate about calling plays, choosing plays, but what they're allowing Kansas to do is bring those safeties down into the box. They believe they're going to stop the run first and force them to throw. Buechele might have to win this game or at least keep the lead with his arm.
And so far today, Shane Buechele 15 of 23, 154 yards passing. He's thrown 1 touchdown pass, but he has 2 interceptions in the ball game.
And they're in the 4-minute run the clock mode. Take time off the clock every down.
Gonna throw it here. Floated to the outside, just over the top of a defender's hands. Caleb blew it. They're gonna call that a reception and mark it at 1st down yardage. One of the Kansas defenders was waving his arms in the incomplete mode, but the side judge says it's good.
And this is a nice touch. This is a type of throw that you have to make in this situation when you're going to have more people at the line of scrimmage. You got to find ways to get the ball down the field. It's fairly safe throws there.
Foreman with some yardage here, leaps 1 And he's caught and dropped, but not until he'll move the sticks again for the Longhorns.
That's a big man with some moves now. We talked about a blaster with mobility. He's got those dancing shoes going.
They go quickly here back to Foreman, who will fall forward with about a 6-yard gain on first down, bring it down to the 35-yard line. Wonder if he ever ran hurdles, like in high school track or something?
You know, he said he didn't, but he certainly looks like he could have.
What he said he did, the 4x100, the
4x200,
yep.
And he didn't do the 100 himself, though, but he anchored the 4x100 relay.
He's anchoring this Longhorn offense right now. Kansas just took a chance and sent everybody in at him, and he only gained about 1. It's going to set up third down. On the previous carry, he did pass Cedric Benson for 3rd place in single-season yardage in the Texas record book. And he's up now to 222 yards on 44 carries today. 3rd and 3 for the Longhorns.
Got plenty of time on the play clock. They're going to take their time, make sure they get in the right play.
Drop it to Blewett. He'll be dropped shy of first down yardage. Mike Lee, the freshman safety, sniffed that one out.
That's either or territory. It's long field goal. Do you go for it on 4th down, try to ice the game? Looks as if they're going to keep the offense in the game.
It'll be a 50-yard field goal try. Remember, they missed a 30-some-yard field goal earlier, like a 31-yard try. So here on 4th down and 2, are they just going to try and draw Kansas offside, or are they going to run a play?
It may depend on what they see on defense.
Hand it off to Foreman. And look at that. First down, Texas to the 26-yard line.
Talk about a pile driver. Just drive that pile. Great body lean. Getting his pads ahead. Running behind those pads.
Down to 4 minutes to go. He'll have the ball again. All the way down to the 20-yard line. Ball is out. Kansas has got it. Seeing conflicting signals from 2 different officials on the far side of the field. That's all. That's out.
Ball is out. Ball is out.
One official was holding the line where he might have been down. The other dropped the beanbag and signaled fumble. They conferenced and correctly have called it a fumble. So his 2nd fumble of the day and a 5th Longhorn turnover, and the Jayhawks have a chance.
He's breaking records tonight, but he's also putting the ball on the ground, and I'm not sure which carries more weight with the coaching staff.
Cameron Rosser will get credit for recovering the fumble for the Jayhawks. And so now trailing by 3. Can the Jayhawks march down the field and get into the end zone like they did on their last possession?
This puts Charlie Strong in a tough situation, certainly as the defensive coordinator making the play calls, but also how do you deal with Deontay Foreman? He is breaking records. He's a threat to go 200 yards every single game, but he's also put the ball on the ground for, what, 4 consecutive games now?
Yeah. Yeah, 3 consecutive games and now 5 on the season. So it's tough. Chris?
Carter Stanley does not command the sidelines like a freshman. He was talking with his coach about what was working, went to everyone on his offense, shook their hand, looked them in the eye, and he said, "We got this."
Well, he's got his chance to show it. 1st and 10 from their own 13-yard line. Texas brings pressure. He steps away. Gets the first down and takes on a defender before he's tackled out by the 34-yard line.
Remember, he started a group chat with his offensive lineman. That's a smart thing for a quarterback. Shows he's organized, ready to go, and knows who to keep on his side.
Gonna hand it off to Keon Kinner. He'll cut back inside and gain about 4 before he's dropped. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
And they're going to have to find ways to get some chunk plays out of this. They're not a good enough offense right now to run 4 to 5 yards per play. They have to avoid turnovers, but get some chunk plays.
That's the thing. Don't get in too big of a hurry and don't turn the ball over, forcing a throw. Near side, almost stepped in front of. That was close. P.J. Locke had an eye on that ball, and there was nothing between him and the end zone.
There's two problems there. One, it's too late by the quarterback. He's waiting for the receiver to break open. He has to throw him open. But secondly, the receivers are not being able to separate from the defensive backs. Too tight a coverage to risk that type of throw.
So suddenly it's 3rd down. 3 minutes to go in the ball game. Big conversion attempt here for the Jayhawks.
They've had some success throwing slant routes today.
Movement, whistles. It's going to become 3rd and longer.
So much pressure up front. That offensive line is anxious to try to get everybody blocked.
Ooh, I just saw a reaction that makes me think this might go against Texas. Let's see.
False start.
Oh, okay.
Number 62. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
DeAndre Banks, the right tackle, took a step. I saw a Texas defender walk away from the referee's huddle and throw his head up in the air.
I saw that same response. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I still think the slant route is their best option here. Even if you have to go 11 yards, you complete this to a guy on the run, he can make 10 or 11 yards in this type of play.
All right. They need the 49-yard line.
It's the one pass play that Carter Stanley has thrown well today as receivers have caught it, and they found a way to get open.
Play clock at 5. Scott Sims going to be shy of 1st down yardage. It'll be 4th down and about 7.
Looks as if they're going to punt this ball. I say looks as if they're going to punt this ball.
I would be standing there waiting for the fake all day.
Texas put the return team on the field, though.
All right, so now they'll take the timeout and they'll talk about it. Gives us a minute to talk about Monday Night Football down in Mexico City, when Derek Carr and the Raiders take on the Texans on Monday Night Football. Coverage starting with Monday Night Countdown, served by Applebee's at 6, streaming live on Watch ESPN. Both teams in an interesting spot, close to the top of their division in the standings, and an important game, and they'll play it before a massive crowd at the stadium in Mexico City.
I had a chance to do one of Derek Carr's games his senior year. He was excellent at Fresno State. He's being coached by Bill Musgrave, I believe, who played for me at Oregon. Done a nice job there with the Raiders.
Jack Del Rio and that Oakland team have really come around this year, so it'll be an interesting one to see. And it'll be interesting to see the atmosphere down in Mexico City as well on Monday night. So let's see what happens here. It's 4th down and 6 for the Jayhawks. They're trailing by 3, 2:42 to go in the game. Will they get a chance to get the ball back? Maybe not, without some Texas help. Are they going to go for it and reconsider here?
I think you got to go for it. I'll tell you what. How many games have you won lately?
That's it.
Plus, how many more opportunities do you think you're going to get today?
The offense back on the field. They need the 49-yard line.
And they're an empty, which is like putting a red flag in front of a charging bull for that front group of Texas.
Behind the receiver, and too tall, and the ball goes over to the Longhorns on downs.
Absolutely no question about needing to go for it on 4th down.
No, I agree.
No issue with that whatsoever.
You want to take a chance to win. What are you gaining by kicking it away? Now the Longhorns get the ball. Kansas with just the 1 timeout, 2.5 to go. And Texas will try and grind it out and see if they can keep from putting the ball on the ground.
Do you put Deontay Foreman back in the game?
Well, you're the coach, but if it's me, I do, because I just like before in the game, when he made the mistakes, they put him back in and they rode him all the way down the field. Remember to start the second half?
Yeah, they set him for a while, though.
1 series, yes. And here he is again. All right, big fella, close the game. That's what the coach is probably saying to him.
They want to see him react to the pressure.
He'll get the first touch. He's got people hanging on his arms, trying to strip the ball away. He'll have a nice gain. And timeout called by David Beatty in Kansas. Their final one of the ball game with 2.5 to go. So Texas looking if they can seal the win here to become bowl eligible with a 6th victory on the season. The swirl around Coach Charlie Strong seems to never stop among some of the Texas supporters. Another fresh article today, written by ESPN.com's Brett McMurphy, saying that there's a surge on the part of some to try and find a way to get a coaching change. I know that the Texas school president, Greg Fenves, has been very supportive of Charlie and very much in favor of the direction the program is taking under Charlie Strong.
Unfortunately, a win today, or this type of win, even though it makes them bowl eligible, is not going to ease any of the pressure. This is not what they expected playing a Kansas team that has not won very many football games.
Yeah, you look at it a couple of ways. They've got a lot of young kids in there. They fixed their offensive problem, right? Sterling Gilbert has done a really good job with this Texas offense. The Chicago Cubs model, building with our young kids for a championship, versus the Jim Harbaugh model of coming in and showing some pretty rapid success.
The trouble is there's the Jim Harbaugh model out there to compare to. And the reality is they've recruited well. They have a good young team. They've got length. A lot of coaches across the nation say they're going to be good. The question is whether Charlie's going to be able to get them to that point.
It's a tough spot, that profession you guys take on.
Yeah, so that's why I'm up here now.
Yeah. So 2nd and 5 for the Horns, trying to get out of Kansas with a win on a day when they've turned over the ball 5 times. And certainly fixing their problems of playing on the road, which has plagued them so much this year, will be on the menu for looking ahead.
One of the other issues, D'Onta Foreman does not go down easy. He's going to take 3rd and 4th hits. He's going to hold and move that pile, but as he's moving that pile, guys are going to get the opportunity to rip and strip and claw that ball out.
Chance to put the game away here on this 3rd down and 3.
And this would be a time for the zone read and the quarterback, if there's too much attention to Foreman, to keep the football.
There's Foreman, knocked down in the backfield. Jackie Desir got to him and made the stop. It's 4th down and 5.
Probably outside field goal range.
Yes.
Take as much time off the clock, run the ball, pooch punt it if you're the quarterback. A few things you can do.
Or do you go for it here on 4th and 5 if you're outside of field goal range? If you get the 1st down, the game's over.
Well, I'm saying you go for it if you like what you see on defense. If you get the matchup you want, you have a play called. If not, you pooch kick it. If not, you delay a game and punt it. You got a lot of options.
Yeah.
The key is how adventurous, how courageous do you want to be?
So they'll call the timeout with 1 second left on the play clock and 1:01 left on the game clock. So Texas trying to escape Lawrence with a victory after a game in which they've turned this football over 5 different times. Not very often you can turn a ball over 5 different times and find a way to get out of town and pull in a victory. What's your takeaway from this game for Kansas, first of all?
Well, they competed. They're in this football game against a better team, and they've done a great job on defense. They have 5 takeaways in the game. Defensively, they played well enough to win this football game. They need a lot of work offensively. They have a young quarterback. They didn't get a lot of production from their running game today, and actually not much from the passing game either. But they did hang in there, and they're competing, and I think that's something they can build on.
And on the far sideline for Texas, a takeaway on the Longhorns on this one.
Well, they're going to be disappointed. I think they came in thinking this should be a game where they can run roughshod, and they have not done that. They're in a close, hard-fought game. It is a victory. It will make them bowl eligible if they can hang on, but it's not. They're not going to feel really good about this game.
So 4th and 5, if they can convert here, ball game over. If not, Kansas might get a chance for a big scramble. They'll hand it off. And Foreman will be a yard shy of the 1st down. Kansas is going to get the ball. 58 seconds to go, trailing by 3.
All they need is a field goal to tie this thing up. I think one thing, too, I thought Foreman ran a little tentatively right there, maybe being afraid to fumble.
So the Kansas field goal kicker, Matthew Wyman, is a senior. His long this season is 50 yards. So that means they've got to get the ball to the 40. Got to get it down to the 33-yard line. And no timeouts.
So you practice this all the time. You practice a 2-minute situation where you have 58 seconds, no timeouts, and you're on your own 29-yard line. Let's see how well they can execute. Got to get first downs, out of bounds, or touchdowns.
And Texas. They drop him inbounds. That's Kinner. Shy of first down yardage. Clock running.
Can't take a sack, and the defense wants to tackle inbound short of the first down. Keep that clock running.
Again, Kinner across the middle. They'll have the first down and more. Almost gets away. He's into Texas territory at the 37-yard line.
They have to consider spiking the ball at some point. They cannot let the clock run too much.
They need about 5-7 more yards to get into field goal range. Receiver fell down. It's incomplete. Looking for a flag. Don't get it. Second down. Now, no timeouts. So if this play doesn't go anywhere, now you're running out of options because you don't have a down to spike the ball, and you need time to get the field goal unit on, lined up, and have a shot at the kick before the game clock expires.
Usually about 18 seconds is what required. You need a first down or a shot out of bounds here.
Under pressure. Throws it to the sides. Got a receiver. He falls down in bounds. That's Kinner. Clock running. Flag is out. Did they get a roughing the passer afterwards? Or was there a holding? If it's a holding, that's a problem.
They're going to have a meeting of the minds.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer with targeting. Number 23. Defense. 15-yard penalty. The previous play is under further review.
So Jeffrey McCulloch, and because it's targeting, they'll review it.
Okay, let's take a look. This is huge right here. Ball's gone right there. Hard to tell, although it looked Stanley's helmet. If we have another view that can show us from the other side.
Well, I'd like to see another one because he looked like he had him chest to chest, but there may still have been contact helmet to helmet.
Sometimes
we'll see.
If you strike in the chest area, you're going to slide up in that situation.
But a 15-yard penalty automatically puts Kansas into field goal range. Let's look here.
Yeah, it's not going to change. It's not going to change the call in terms of the penalty. Because there, the ball's gone. He's going to get the unnecessary. But by the head motion,
bobbing back,
I would say it's probably going to get.
Well, here's a good look.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, he put his head down.
Yeah.
Did he lead with the crown of the helmet there?
Well, the crown of the helmet looks like it's contacting right under the chin, which is illegal. That is above the shoulder area, so I think that's going to be upheld. The key, as you talked about, is you've got 19 seconds left at this point. They may adjust the clock. I don't know.
Remember the targeting rule. No player shall target or make forcible contact with the crown of his helmet or target and make forcible contact to the head and neck area of a defenseless opponent with the helmet, forearm, hand, fist, elbow, or shoulder. And when in question, it is a foul.
They got the ball at the 19-yard line, easily within field goal range. What you have to make sure that you do here is you might be able to take some shots because it's first down, but you cannot get sacked. Because as you said, it takes about 18 seconds. We've done it. If you're on your sideline, you can do it about 12. If you're on the opposite sideline, it takes 18 seconds for us to run a kick team onto the field, get set, and try the field goal.
So as the replay official next door, Jeff Hansen, continues to review this play. If they confirm it, then the ball is at the 19-yard line with 19 seconds to go.
They can also just, it depends. They want to win the game. They don't want to tie the game. If they got a couple chances to win, I believe they'll take some shots, but they have to be very careful about the clock because they have no timeouts.
After review, the ruling on the field for targeting is confirmed. Number 23 has been disqualified.
So McCulloch is out of the game, and he'll miss the first half of the Longhorns' next week game against TCU because of the disqualification. Now the ball is at the 19-yard line. The Kansas offense is on the field, 19 seconds, no timeouts, and a first down.
And they can always just center this ball and spike it and just take the tie at this point. But I think you've got to go for a win, at least take an opportunity for a couple shots.
So the referee telling them they're going to wind the clock on the ready for play. So they've got to be ready to go.
Quarterback cannot take a sack. Has to throw the ball away if there's any question.
Scott Campbell making sure everybody knows what's going on here. Campbell, the referee. All right, so here we go. Getting ready to start the clock and whistle the ball into play. 19 seconds to go. Kansas trailing by 3. Gonna take a shot toward the end zone. 2 Texas defenders there. It falls to the ground. They had a shot at the interception, and it fell to the ground.
Whether you're an offense or defense, you have to control the ball through contact with the ground. Let's take a look. I thought this ball was intercepted. They both have it right there. Great job by the receiver of pulling the ball out. You must maintain control through contact with the ground.
Steven Sims may be saving the day for the Jayhawks. So here comes Matthew Wyman on senior day, the senior kicker, looking to see if he can tie the game.
He must like this hash because they can still center it, spike it, and have time to put the ball right in the middle if that's where he wants it.
36-yarder. And this ball game is tied with 7 seconds to go.
Okay. Some of those fans that went home earlier stringing back into the stadium. Let's take a look. Under pressure. Nice job. Nice execution. Good effort by the Texas defensive line to get up there, but that is right down the middle.
Pressure moment. And the senior knocks it through. So Kansas, after Texas turned it over on downs, took just 51 seconds to go 52 yards and then kicked the 36-yard game-tying field goal. So 7 seconds left in regulation. Now, as the one who called the Duke-Miami game a year ago, you'll never hear me say that's not enough time for something to happen.
You're right, because you witnessed it.
So we'll see what Kansas does with the kick here. If it's me, I just kick it out of bounds and let them have it, you know, with one shot.
I would squib kick it down the middle, and hopefully a guy who doesn't like to carry the ball gets it.
They will squib it. Down at the 30, and there'll be about 2 seconds to go in regulation.
Now the same type of play that you talked about can happen. See, every team sort of practices this end of the game play when you're tied up, and how much risk do you want to have? But it's the multiple lateral, get it to one side, toss it back across the field, get the line to set a picket fence, and then make sure that you're on defense. You got some people back that can tackle.
This Kansas defense has been on the field a long time in this game, but they have given their team a chance, helped by Texas turnovers, 5 of them in the ball game. 2 seconds left in regulation, tied at 21.
What we're going to see is just a safe play. Texas very willing to go to overtime. They think that's their advantage.
Overtime coming up in Lawrence. Can Texas steal a win and get away after turning the ball over 5 times? Or can Kansas break the long dry spell and get a win on senior day? We find out when overtime begins, tied at 21. Going to overtime at Kansas. Texas trying to win to become bowl eligible. Kansas trying to win just to win this season over an FBS team. And we're tied at 21.
Right now, if I were basing it on energy, I would believe that Texas doesn't really want to be here. There's too many guys sitting down on that sideline for me. The Kansas crew is excited. I'll tell you what, they got their work cut out for them, though, here in overtime.
All right, so Scott Campbell gathering the team captains at the center of the field for the coin toss. And we will listen in and see how this overtime is going to get started.
Gentlemen, great game. Welcome to overtime. Overtime rules. The winner of the coin toss, you get to choose offense, defense, or what side of the field we play on. The loser of the coin toss, you get to choose offense, or they have the remaining choices. Each team gets 1 timeout per overtime series. Texas, you're the visitors. You get to call the coin toss. Heads, tails, heads, tails. What's your call? Tails is the call. It is heads. Kansas, you win the toss. defense. Kansas wins the toss, and we'll go on defense. Which side of the field are we going to play on? All right. 1st and 10. Texas from the 25.
So Kansas wins the toss. And the rules for overtime, by way of review, each team will get a possession from the opponent's 25-yard line until the winner's decided. The play clock only. You have to go for 2, beginning with the 3rd overtime, but we got a lot of football to play before we get to that 3rd overtime. Experience in overtime. Well, last time Kansas has played an overtime game was in 2012. They were at Texas Tech. They lost in overtime 41-34. Texas, of course, with the double overtime thriller win at home against Notre Dame to open this season back on Labor Day.
One of the biggest things is you want to avoid turnovers in overtime. If you can get a takeaway, it's a tremendous advantage. But obviously, the decision typically is to go on defense first to know what you need to do to respond to whatever the other team does in terms of scoring.
This Kansas defense, very thin in terms of depth, spent a lot of time on the field today being pounded by D'Onta Foreman, who's carried the ball 50 times for 250 yards. But now can they make another stand, or can Texas get into the end zone? Not going to get much on that play. Foreman continuing to fight, but his forward progress stopped with no gain.
With the number of turnovers on both sides, I will guarantee you both coaches have told their guys ball security is the most important aspect of this overtime period.
23 consecutive losses to FBS opponents for the Jayhawks.
Kansas is packing the box, bringing the safeties down. Would be surprised to see some type of a play action pass, especially one-on-one to the top of the field.
Michelle to throw. Under pressure. Gets away. Gets it off. Intercepted! It's intercepted! Mike Lee! Ball comes out. Kansas recovers. And now the Jayhawks will have a chance to try and win the ball game.
Now this is all in the matchup with the Kansas offense and the Texas defense. Obviously, a field goal wins this game, but ball security, one more time, most important aspect.
A 6th turnover in this ball game by the Texas Longhorns.
Very poorly thrown ball, under pressure somewhat. Buscheller, we talked about, he wanted to go to the wide side of the field, saw the safety get out there, runs out to the right, sees a wide open guy, just puts too much on this ball. And the freshman, the guy that should still be in high school, getting ready for his prom or whatever, intercepts the pass. Mike Lee.
No. Yes, it did, Coach. So now your defense has to make a stand. And can the Jayhawks find a way to get points? If they do, the ball game's over. So they'll start from the 25-yard line with Carter Stanley, the redshirt freshman quarterback, looking to see if he can be the winning hero for his team.
His choices have to be very, very good. He can't lose yardage because they're in field goal range now. They'd like to improve this. Can't throw that ball down the field without a purpose. Find some green grass.
Keon Kinner is the tailback. He's got the ball. He'll grind out about 3, maybe 2.5. It'll be 2nd down.
I still wouldn't be surprised to see Carter Stanley on the edge with a run-pass option. Safe type of plays that he can have an opportunity to throw the ball away or gain some yards, hitting a tight end or back in the flat.
Kinner again, hit in the backfield, gets away from one, falls forward. He'll be shy of 1st down yardage. It'll be 3rd down and 3 for the Jayhawks.
They're about as good a field goal position as you could want.
Already, yes. Remember, the field goal that tied the ball game was a 36-yarder. This one would be just a little bit longer than that if they get nothing on this play.
Texas showing pressure, bringing everybody.
Kinner, 1st down. Down to the 6-yard line.
Kinner, a senior from Little Elm, Texas, would like to score a touchdown right here, I'll tell you.
25 seniors on this Jayhawk team who've gone through a lot. Coaching turnover, winless spells. Will, on senior night, they get to ride off with a victory. 1st and goal from the 6-yard line. They'll get down to the 4. 2nd down. Do you kick it on 3rd, or do you just keep pushing and wait till 4th?
Well, I try to score first, but I think you could try to kick it, because if you fumble the ball and it goes down, you get another shot. I don't see a lot of energy from the Texas team right now. I think in some ways they already resigned themselves to what's going to happen in this game. They need more energy. There's still a lot of things that could happen.
So 2nd and goal from the 4-yard line for Kansas. It's Kinner again. Stood up at the 2-yard line. Make it the 3. They'll spot him stopped at the 3. It's 3rd down and goal. And here comes the kick team. So on 3rd down, the senior Matthew Wyman will be sent onto the field. Now remember, Texas has had some success blocking kicks this year.
Remember too, if the ball is mishandled, they can just down it and still have 4th down, and let's try another kick.
So Wyman to line it up. They'll spot it at the 10. It's a 20-yarder to win the ball game for Kansas. And the timeout will be called to try and freeze the kicker.
You're right. Number 95, Poona Ford, is a guy that has blocked a couple of BATs this year. He's got the push up front. Watch him.
So Wyman, who really, his misses have mostly been from long range this year. From this range, he is 4 for 4 on the season so far. Out there by himself, going through his steps. And so here he comes. Texas out of timeouts. The long snapper is Logan Klussman. The holder is the punter Cole Moose. The kicker Matthew Wyman to try and end the winless streak for the Jayhawks. And the drama builds.
It's never easy.
False start, number 66. Offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
So back him up 5. Will still make it a very manageable kick distance, so 25 yards. Ball between the hash marks. Again, Texas out of timeouts. So we'll try it once more. Is the 3rd one the charm?
Charlie Strong does not want to watch.
Jayhawks win. They may not have had the biggest crowd today, but they may have the happiest as these fans celebrate with their team at midfield on senior day. The dry spell is over. Kansas has won.
How do you celebrate your first FBS victory in 2 years? You take the field and celebrate with the coach. I'll tell you what, on the sidelines on the other side, the Texas guys have had their head down. I don't know if they felt worse for themselves or for Coach Charlie Strong.
We saw Coach Strong walking toward the locker room. Those players all love him. This won't do anything to quiet the discussions for sure, as bowl eligibility will have to wait another week. And of course, losing to a team that has struggled as much as Kansas has will be fodder for the talk shows, the columns, and the boosters well into the coming week and weeks. Here in Kansas, though, a senior class that has gone through so much. The coaching changes, the losing, the disappointment. And look at that scene.
Coach Beatty and his staff and his players deserve a great congratulations on this victory.
David Beatty, at the end of his second season as the head man here in Kansas, watching Matthew Wyman knock through the game-winning kick in overtime after he knocked through the one to tie the ball game with just seconds to go.
Star of the show right there. Look at those guys coming to congratulate him. Just don't be at the bottom of the pile. That's the only problem. Love to see coaches get happy and fired up and excited.
Your wide world of sports moment here, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Somewhere in the middle of that celebration is Chris and Coach Beatty.
Coach, it took a while to get to you with all these fans down here. What does this moment mean to you right now?
Man, how about y'all fans? We got some great fans. Hey, I'm so happy for our kids. They're resilient, tough, and I hope they'll enjoy it. I really do. And I'm so happy for our fans. It's a great win. Rock Chalk!
That you're feeling right now?
Man, just so grateful, so happy for our kids. They've been through so much. We got the best kids ever, and I love them. We got great fans, great support. Our fans are great. We love all of you, man.
You're outnumbered. You have a quarterback who was going to make his second start. What did it take to win this one?
Well, I think the thing that he's got is he got some moxie about him now. And that team, they really draw to him. He did some tremendous things to go down there in that last drive with no timeouts like that. I looked up, and I think there was 58 seconds left. And, man, I don't think anybody knew that we were going to do it but us. And man, I'm just so happy for these kids. I want our fans to be happy as hell on Monday morning at their water cooler.
I asked what it meant to you emotionally, but to see these seniors walk out with one more win here in Lawrence, what does it mean to see the emotion on their faces?
Man, these seniors are the best, man. This one right here, he got a long career after this, man. We got so many great ones, and, man, there was a group of them last year that came through here, and I told them I'd never let them be forgotten, and we won't. It's just one, so we got to move on. We got a great challenge next week, but I love these seniors, man. They're great kids, man, and I love being a Jayhawk.
Thank you, Coach.
Every building program needs that moment, that